Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. pattern of conduct, the ongoing real-time documentation of what is the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in violation of 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is the pattern of conduct underway by a public entity, that is the state of California, that is engaging in federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California. So this is group conduct. And this is the practicing of what are the criminal elements of monitoring amongst what is the demon possessed. And so this is what is documentation of terrorism as it is underway by a public entity in concert with the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government as this criminal system is in ceaseless operation. And as the state engages in this demented group conduct, this is revealing how the public entity, that is the state of California, that is in the United States of America, how terrorism of an American citizen plays out, what that looks like, how that is facilitated amongst a people, amongst a government, how it is public corruption in plain sight, and not only that, how you formulate policy and how you prosecute that which is demonic conduct, it's demonic activity, but that which is in no way impervious to prosecution in federal court, and being subject to ratification into federal policy. This is the P.O.C. 42324D3. S.I.S 7SQC550. The state en route going eastbound with its fake son from Stater Brothers going east on Hall Boulevard. And that's what I captured in video as well. Even though I've shown this day in and day out, that is the state following with a light source that is not the sun. And this is the state, as our document yesterday, feigning that this light source is going anywhere as it remains over B&G Plaza for the duration of the day. And that is documentation of what is not the sun remaining over one street in one city, over one address. That's what that documentation shows yet again. Yeah. And that's over the B&G Plaza. And this is the state's fake sun, again, west of what is the B&G Plaza early in the morning, remaining over one address for the duration of the day. And then proceeding what was east as I went to 111 North Vineyard Avenue. That's what that documentation shows. This is the blatant stalking by the people of the state and the Ontario Police Department, 8 VWJ 888. And that's why the Ontario Police, that's why they're going to federal prison, besides the fact they're engaged in a pattern of kidnapping. All right, you disband such law enforcement agencies. It is currently 8:25 a.m. Fake sun over B&G Plaza. All right, license 6RRK793. And in my video, the group stalker that drives by, so it looks like a Latino male, directed light appears of, which is supposed to be the, I guess his rims that are so shiny and there's no light hitting it. The shape of his rims are hitting on the ground. That's a demon that is following with light. That's called stalking with light. While he is intentionally crossing path, he is stalking on video and doing so under what is also the fake sun. That is also the indication of what his condition is, which is demon possession, and what his activity is, which is stalking on behalf and in concert with the government. 8MPY 906. And that's exactly what I pointed out on video. And that demon-possessed stalker just revved his engine. Satan knows that I'm speaking about him, and I'm going to get that psychopath's license plate. 6VNH 589, 8MEF 855, 7MML 409. By the way, revving your engine is called audible activity and directed light. 7JSK 487, 7WIC 932, 8BQL 333, 6KLN 795. All right, that license, who you're witnessing stalking and demonic activity on camera, 08465N2. His dirty, crusty truck is not creating a reflection of his rims on in the shade. All right, he's monitoring with Ontario Police for a crossing path right now. A vehicle 1889 going westbound on Hope Boulevard. And those are demons that are engaging in threatening conduct together. This is ongoing documentation going toward what is the disbanding of such law enforcement agencies such as the Ontario Police Department. All right, 6NPW 544. It is 8:30 a.m. All right, as I spoke to about the third party, it is the same exact analysis with the Ontario Police Department and the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the Fontana Police Department. I'm using Ontario as an example because I documented them heavily under a fake sun, engaging in molestation, engaging in stalking, and they also have engaged in what is kidnapping. All right, so you have what is the indication of what is their condition. Ontario Police Department, demon-possessed, 00416C1, as they are also under the fake sun, 32052V2, operation of his communication device while he's crossing path in direct light under the fake sun at 8:33 a.m. The condition of the Ontario Police Department, which is revealed while they are present in that demented environment, that is crossing path in directed light. That's exactly what they were heavily engaged in, as you heard me recite their license plate and or recite their presence crossing path with the people. 89088N2. 8JNX 981, and they were there full throttle engaged in that molestation. 7ZNP 854, and they're also going to be prosecuted as the sex offenders that they are. They are engaged in that ongoing surveillance in the private space. The demon-possessed entity, that is the people of the state acting with the government, engage in monitoring the private space while the Ontario Police Department are stalking around, remaining in relevant position, monitoring to the activity that's created inside of the private space. Like I said, they are engaged. Group stalking is conspicuous and inconspicuous stalking. It is conspicuous because it's public corruption, and the entity before thought that they could be right in your face stalking you and you would never know it, or you could never prosecute it. 5SSU 749. All right, because they think they're present in their own rights and they're not. You're present on behalf of the government. 5EVP 461. And all the ways you engage in that bold stalking, which is threatening the life and sexually violating, you're going to be prosecuted for that. And you're acting on behalf of a whole entity that's going to be prosecuted with you. DOCE or QNCE 11. And you have what is, and that's why it is both conspicuous and inconspicuous presence, perpetual presence, conspicuous and inconspicuous. All right, that's what traffic is. It's conspicuous presence. They're all present on behalf of the state that is monitoring an American citizen. I am documenting and I'm showing you what is what is group stalking. And it is demonic at its core. The Ontario Police demonstrating demon possession, the Ontario Police demonstrating demon possession while they are stalking as a group, as an agency. Also by their conduct, I have literally witnessed the demon possession of that particular agency. 58766Y2, demons animating their movements, AX42J14, literally as I make any move. I mean, I have seen the very 31801P1 and 7JUM102. I have seen that very demented conduct, and it is literally demons that provoke their movements. It is literally demon possession is that where you are essentially a puppet, all right, and there is a demon that animates you with regard to what you are doing as you do it. And in the natural, you're just looking at a person, but you're witnessing what is a demon possession that is literally the inspiration for everything that they do. And when you are aware of that, you're looking at what is very random and very demented and very disturbing conduct. And you're talking about from standing still, acting like you're just engaging in a conversation. And the reason why I always say acting is because that is not the focus. The outward objective is to appear as though you are, first of all, normal, and second of all, just consume this like every other person. You're talking to the person that's standing in front of you. You guys are coking and joking, you know, just conversing, have a jovial time, having a good time. Ha 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 ha! I'm all about this person I'm sitting in front, and that demon that has possessed this department or this person. But I'm talking about the Ontario Police Department that I have witnessed while they were group stalking at the city hall while I was documenting there, and this is where they were engaged in that. And the police engaged in grouping conduct around there under the fake sun that was over that city hall. Okay, in directed light that was molesting my person. Sheriff's Department 1524556. They're highly demon possessed. Satan owns them. Anyway, you have what is from 1 second, they're all deep in a conversation, laughing and joking. But if I, for example, move abruptly for sitting with my legs crossed and then all of a sudden uncross my legs, they immediately stop talking and they engage in this jerk of their body to maintain presence in the path. And I have seen that's demonic, meaning they are moving in order to make sure they are maintaining presence in the path. It is entirely disturbing conduct, and they are demon-possessed stalkers. In that demented environment that was circus focused around me. I say circus because it is like a circus. They are demons in a demented environment, and you're going to restrain them, imprison them, prosecute them accordingly. You have what is, though, that entirely artificial environment remaining around me. You are entirely focused on me under the fake sun. That's why it's there. You are entirely focused on me, which is with directed light. That is tying to the fact that not only you know exactly who I am, you are entirely focused on me. You even want to touch me while you are stalking.
right? That is what everything that I have shown you with regard to the pattern of conduct and those hallmarks. That is what that is revealing. Okay, so you have what are psychopaths. That includes the Ontario Police Department, who, by the way, are on very dangerous and thin ice because you're documenting an agency. This represents the state as it is acting directly in violation of existing federal law, Title 18, Section 22618, subsections 1 and 2. The Ontario Police Department engaging in federal stalking is that which is inherently intended to intimidate and to harass, all right, and to injure. And they have already engaged in that while they were engaged in federal stalking. This is why you are engaging in what is kidnapping while federal stalking is underway, and that's what the Ontario Police Department has engaged in a pattern of. They're going to federal prison for that, okay? Not only that, the policy that I advocate, which is with regard to acknowledging how these government agencies, let alone the people of the state, because it's a demonic system, all right? You are of the demonic in participating in this system, and you're participating when you're in relevant position. There's no form. You have what is the satanic system in operation and the demonstration of that demon possession while you're in those positions of government. That's the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, okay? That's the Ontario Police Department. While they were engaged in a pattern of kidnapping, while federal stalking was underway, speaking to what is necessary when you are revealing such public corruption and demon possession. It's directly relevant to the positions that they hold. Directly relevant. All right, their criminal conduct directly relevant while they are psychopaths in those positions engaging in that criminal conduct with the people of the state. F927VD. And you have what are those demon-possessed stalkers engaging in textbook P.O.C. of stalking somebody, acting like you're focused on something else in directed light. I had just shown you what is, first of all, directed light inside of the Starbucks. I've shown you on walking down any corner, down any street I am, where I have my shadow surrounding my person. This is the environment, and I have established that this is not changed. You are clearly stalking, and they are engaging in that obsessive level. I'm going to put they're going to federal prison for that. All right, this is an obsessive character that they are revealing while they're engaging in a determined effort to engage in criminal activity. That is what is the Ontario Police Department is being documented as. You don't have any form under the fake sun, and this is the beauty of documentation, revealing the criminals that are bearing law enforcement uniforms, including the San Bernardino sheriffs. And I have named hundreds of them already on my website and on YouTube. If you look at my videos, that were acting in concert with the court, the officers of the court. All right, who I also named any deputy, any officer of the court that I encountered. I documented them to the best of my ability, and they're going to federal prison. All right, the state is monitoring, and that was the fictitious case that I'm referencing. The people of the state of California, imagine that, monitoring me versus Erica Lorraine Spencer, and that was case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. This is heavily covered already on my website, and I also did publish video which YouTube did interject itself in removing one of my videos that is revealing the kidnapping that I suffered while I was remaining at the Ontario Museum of History and Art. That's a demon that doesn't want me to reveal it. I'm going to document it, and that's audible activity under the fake sun, and they're focused on me. YouTube revealed that, and I stated on my YouTube channel that I'm going to prosecute YouTube for that, and I'm going to prosecute them for that. That is serious criminal activity where the government is kidnapping you, and then you try to document it, and you have a third party on the venue of the internet injecting themselves in that legal process. And publishing on the internet is a part of the legal process, a vital part. All right, it is the integral aspect of that. 8FGS 647, 8VYN 775, excuse me. So you have what is, I've already published this documentation, and so where this entity is engaged in a pattern of kidnapping and engaging in this demonstration of demon possession, demonstrating that, and pursuant to that, you are a demon-possessed stalker. You are acting with the people. These are all demons. I've shown you what is baseline, revealing what the system is. First of all, this is demonic. Every single last person, every type of third party that I've shown you, whether they're in a commercial vehicle, the demon possessed of Amazon Prime, the demon possessed of FedEx, whatever company you want to name, it doesn't matter. And let me be clear, demonic activity is not limited. Like I've already said, it has nothing to do with your age. This is demonic activity in the state of California. Understand that. Up to the next level is, first of all, then you're realizing the demon possessed in the state of California are engaging in criminal activity, and it is in violation of existing federal law, Title 18. And then you're going to go to the next level, and you're realizing this is demonic activity. This is inclusive of the government. That has repercussions. That has implications with regard to those in positions of government, those in the courts, those in law enforcement. All right, those that are the people of the state, third parties and companies. Not only the third-party companies, commercially speaking, what they're doing, their condition, what they're doing to American citizens, and with knowledge based on the nature of the crime and monitoring, all of this has implications. And you're talking about the third parties themselves. I'm documenting them, revealing the fact that they're engaging in the system. Oh, that's going to be that which is entering into what is their life, the threats that they pose in that, with that condition, demon possession. That goes for the demon 6JDW421, heavily documented engaging in P.O.C, by the way, and understanding what dangers that they pose with regard to what is their condition and their disposition toward criminal conduct and corruption, all right, and sexual violence, 8DHT481, and that determination. That's the threat that they've revealed, the demon-possessed, PGH1140, law enforcement, the demon-possessed, the government, the demon-possessed, while they engage in this criminal system. All of that is very relevant to what is the necessary invasion into that life of that prosecuted, documented actor to be prosecuted, and all the ways in which they are posing a threat in life, whatever it is that they do for a living, whoever it is that they are around as they do it, pursuant to their condition. All right, Estes U513779, molesting again, 90071X2, molesting me under what is a fake sun that remained for an excess of 8 hours over this B&G Plaza. Estes is stalking. Estes is stalking in the city of Upland as well, going out of its way to molest my body there. Okay, that's a demon-possessed stalker. That's a sex offender. And Estes is spelled E-S-T-E-S. That's a commercial actor and a demon-possessed one. All right, 6ZXB302. There is no condition where any light is reaching over to me to touch me while you drive by. 8LQP908, and that is the same for the Ontario Police Department and the Ontario Fire Department, who went out of their way, and that's why I stood there and I documented, because they're going to federal prison. It's not limited to the Ontario Police Department. The Ontario Fire Department engaged in kidnapping as well. Engaged in molesting my body while you are stalking and terrorizing under a fake sun. And you know I'm documenting. You're trying to engage in deterring me from doing that. That's what that is about. That's the demonic motivation. You document that. All right, 811-09H1, 889-03G1, and then you have the Ontario Police Department group stalking at Vineyard and Hope Boulevard last night, and at the Circle K, 211-88D1, where the state kept its fake sun as I went east on Hope Boulevard after the state kept its fake sun over this B&G Plaza all day long. All right, and then it's visible as I'm at the east part of Hope Boulevard. Okay, while the state is aiming, you saw I took pictures of what is the B&G Plaza. The state, like I said, the exact pattern remains for the duration of the day over one single property and is engaging in it, but that's not really acting like the sun at all when you're remaining. But this is what the state does. Acting like, so in other words, why I say acting is because it's no longer keeping it in perfect alignment with me. No, because that is perfect alignment as it moves it, for example, over the barbershop, as opposed to being right here over me at the bus bench. It's in alignment. It's in diagonal alignment. That's what I mean. It remains in alignment, but you're talking about as it engages in this diagonal alignment conduct, all right, you have what is the state aiming light underneath the shaded structure of the Shirewoods Liquor. That is absolutely impossible light activity. Absolutely impossible. And then this is starting from 8 o'clock in the morning. And then as I go eastbound. So like I said, I already published that. And that was documentation, which I am also referencing not only the 25th, which was Thanksgiving, the 24th, which was the day before Thanksgiving when I went to the Fontana Lewis Library, and the 23rd when I remained at the 150 East Holt building documenting the minions, including Union Pacific. And I was giving you a sharp contrast in what is blatant stalking with light. And I have made the example out of the people of state and out of the government so many times. And this is another vivid illustration showing what the time, I'm showing you the times, I'm giving you it because it's not the sun. What the state is doing with its fake sun has nothing to do with the actual time of day. That is not speaking to what is irrelevant to my documentation. I'm showing you if that was the actual sun, it would be consistent based on that time of day, based on where I'm at. APSP 834. You are it's not consistent, and that is clearly not the sun. 7DKV894, and that's why I use the sun. That's why I use the time stamps. I'm giving you what is 24 hours. If this is supposedly the sun, and it's remaining over this address, well then, if that's the case, then I can go to an entirely different city, and you're not possibly remaining central over my head in a different city at the same exact time. That 8CYG547, and that's exactly what the state does. That's not the sun. All right. And by the way, third parties, the demon possessed, who are focused on the target individual, myself, who are stalking the target individual, myself, are not having that experience of the ubiquitous presence of the sun remaining over their head or in the window of their vehicles. That is impossible. That's impossible. Not only that, the state's conduct is revealing what is the exclusive placement and remaining of some light source that's not the sun in the city of Ontario. And yesterday, literally over Holt Boulevard. That's not the sun. Okay? That would never, like I said in the morning, the state of Nevada would never see the sun, ever, if that was actually the sun. The state of California is operating its own climate. The state of California is operating its own little operation here, and that is not the sun that is hovering over me and remaining over me, regardless of where I am, what direction I go. That's called stalking with light, and that is demonic activity amongst the demon possessed who are focused on you. That's why they want to touch me while they're also stalking. And you prosecute that as sexual violence by a stalker. 75236F2. You prosecute that as sexual violence. All right. In the same way, any other stalker that's hiding behind your bushes, following you around, being a creeper, 248262G. G2, excuse me. Even though this is the government and this is the people, it's not the same whatsoever, but it is analogous with regard to what is stalking activity, obsessive conduct, license BS50T20. And that stalker that's hiding behind your bushes, if they were engaged to an ongoing molesting, touching your person with anything, GUTERZZ 7YLZ914. And touching your person, that's going to be a part of your criminal case as you're documenting that stalker. And you're touching. And you're not only that, you're talking about what is demonic methods of touching. Not only is this demonic, their little conduct with light, it is speaking to what is also 7JXN320. It's speaking to what is their criminal system, light activity, relevant positioning as they are monitoring with communication devices, as they engage in this presence with this engineered light. It is speaking to what they are doing with communication devices, trying to slow it down, trying to interfere with its operation. 55072B2, and that's exactly what I showed, for example, at Prime Wash Express. That's why I took a screenshot of what was my podcast recording that was immediately interrupted. The little red X, the red circle with the X on it, that was monitoring conduct while that demon-possessed stalker, and he looks demon-possessed. And I understand that people engage in outward appearance as though they're normal, and that everything that I'm talking about is just way, way out there, right? He looks like a demon-possessed stalker, all right? A vicious one that engaged in molesting me, stalking me under the fake sun that was blaring over my head in the city of Upland. And then I came here yesterday, which was the 26th, and you're looking at what was criminal activity and sexual violence that I'm going to prosecute the Ontario Police Department for, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, FedEx, UPS, Estes, you name whatever company, because they're one entity monitoring together under that which is not the sun. And that is terrorism as well. That's what this valuable cumulative documentation is going toward. Sexual violence. Touching while you're stalking as the government. License 7AEB, I can't say that one, 7FJP129. And so you have what was while he was touching with that engineered light. All right. Immediately that podcast is destroyed. All right. That's obstruction of justice. They are monitoring, first of all, but they are also engaging in criminal conduct with a determined effort to try to obstruct the target individual's ability to publish and document them. Oh, that's another threat. That's a whole other level of a threat. The government is stalking you and then trying to shut you up. And that's the whole P.O.C. that I've shown. 8VMR 723. Vidco Foods that engaged in molesting the entirety of my body yesterday, stalking inside of B&T Plaza now, directed light moving across the Ultra personnel while they are literally far away from that. They're at the entrance reversing into a parking spot. That's a demon-possessed stalker engaging in sexual violence with the Ontario Police Department as well. While I was reading Vidco Foods, and there's no directed light on the ground until they get right in front of me, that's a demon-possessed stalker, a commercial actor, and they're present today monitoring again with Andy's Burgers in the parking lot under the fake sun at 8:51 a.m. U.S. dot 2414425. P.O.C. I'm a prosecute Vidco Foods 78CJ707 BT 49A78. All right, first of all, this light doesn't even appear, but you're also looking at everything about the P.O.C. is revealing what is demonic and what is an entire demented focus on me, okay? Consumed with the one that they are inferior to, all right? This is demonic at its core. All right. So you have what is my documentation, like I said, and my greater point is the prosecution of the government actors, and that includes the Ontario Police Department engaged in textbook P.O.C. stalking in direct alignment, where I am in the parking lot of the Quick Mart at Vineyard and Holt, 79206 F1. Where I am being molested with directed light, the ongoing pattern of having multiple shadows, 8WGE668, which I documented as soon as I exited the Starbucks, which you can see the demons inside of the Starbucks, 84447R1 as I showed you on video, 8PBK819, they're stalkers, all right? They are demon-possessed ones, and those are psychopaths outwardly acting like they're doing something else, and all they're doing is stalking somebody. That's a psychopath. 6TXR958. And let me be clear, an obsessed one, because all these people are doing are maintaining presence, and I'm going to prosecute the hell out of them. Excuse my language, but that's how passionate I am, and that's exactly what this policy is going toward. 6YSA437. All right, and so that's why I stand there, and I'm subjected to that sexual violence while the Ontario Police and Vidco Foods, all right, and Omnitrans and the United States Postal Service molest my person, molest with rich, substantial directed light moving across my breast, my face, my thighs. They're touching all over with that which is unnaturally occurring while they are stalking, driving past, absolutely disconnected conduct in the shade, but the fake sun is above. That is an ongoing illustration of who you are, what you're doing. ATTG520, and you're stalking, and you're a demon-possessed stalker that's hostile because you know I'm documenting you. That's what you're mad about. And you're going to be prosecuted for every act that I documented on my podcast with regard to crossing path, because every single last one of them were molesting. Every single last one. And that is why group stalking is a perpetual sex offense committed by a government, done in concert with the people of the state, who are the vicarious actor on behalf of that government. And they go to any length to maintain that presence, engage in that hovering stalking, maintaining corporate knowledge, because this is the demon possessed, all right? They know what you're doing in the bathroom, and then the demon possessed go in and stalk you in the bathroom. While they are all maintaining surveillance, the government that's stalking in a helicopter, I showed you 2 videos. I showed you multiple pictures of the state stalking by helicopter while it kept its fake sun over B&G Plaza. That is also an indication of stalking with light. Where the state is stalking me with light, the state engages in 7KCK426. The state engages in that pattern of stalking by plane and helicopter as well. All right. This is that heavy documentation and speaking to what is a violent sex offender. And that's what Omnitrans documented itself, provided the documentation of yet again, where the state's kept its fake sun and you saw that rich, concentrated, directed light appear in the shade. That's what Omnitrans engaged in repeatedly and does so on a daily basis. License plate 1545906-2349. Looks like African-American female molesting with directed light. All right, that's P.O.C. And Ontario Police, like I said, sex offenders, they're monitoring to that molestation. That is a very instrumental part of the P.O.C., the sexual violence of the demon-possessed while they are targeting you and monitoring you. Directed light while the doors of the Omnitrans bus closes. That's African-American female. That's P.O.C. Directed light moving. That's P.O.C. That's Omnitrans. They are the same demon-possessed company. And let me be clear, while I sit at the B&G Plaza, and the state keeps its fake sun over me, I am heavily still documenting the Omnitrans, because the state is keeping its fake sun in the window of that bus, just like I showed as I got on in the evening yesterday. And the state then moves its fake sun to be in the window, and you're looking at what is directed light going backwards on that bus. Absolutely impossible light activity, and also impossible movement of what is not the sun. You're talking about the light source as it is moving eastward after remaining for the prolonged period of the day of over the B&G Plaza. Okay, this is blatant stalking with light, and that's called stalking with light as well, but it's also the sexual violence inherent to that. They're molesting with light. It is currently 8:55 a.m., and that is P.O.C. 86916T1, 8SHN312. 7G93513. I read the rest of those already. Alrighty, it's 8:56 a.m. See, license plates. This is a black Acura 6WLP149. He's group stalking in the parking lot. As they move their vehicles, the state aims light all over the environment. Okay, so that's how you're stalking. License 8WBH585. That's how you are stalking. You're a demon engaging in that sort of conduct, a demon-possessed one with ongoing knowledge of the most minute movement that I engage in. All right, 8VNZ493. And you have what is, by the way, so the video I captured yesterday which was November 26, 2021. I'm showing you a video while I'm standing on the side of Shiro's Liquor, all right? And the state is keeping its fake sun. First of all, point number one, the state is keeping a fake sun over the B&G Plaza property. And this is I begin documentation at 8 o'clock, or at around after 8 a.m. And then you have what is the state keeping its fake sun. 8 EES 598, Right on Time LLC 57024L1, 7 U.C 734. And then you have what is the video, because I want to be clear what Omnitrans is doing. First of all, the fake sun is south of this bus bench. So while I'm standing on the sidewalk, you have, and I've shown this before, I captured specific video of it, and Omnitrans as they are crossing path, driving what is east on Holt Boulevard to the bus stop, while the fake sun is south of that, of where I'm sitting at the bus stop. So in other words, it's over the parking lot. While the state's fake sun is hitting what is the passenger side, this is conduct of hitting what is directed light, 7 WIC 939, and it swipes across your person and across the surface. It's entirely demonic, as I've showed you that on video. And yesterday, the 25th, I captured it on video again. And while, by the way, the actual fake sun was not even hitting the surface of the bus. Okay, so this is occurring while the fake sun is over the parking lot. Omnitrans is molesting. Sunlight does not create the shape of that vehicle and swipe across surfaces as you are driving under the sun. That's not the sun, and that's not sunlight. 6ZQA 808, 6L TF 296, 8NMS 812, 25. I can't really see that one. 6T08036. All right, first of all, that's not sunlight. Sunlight is not creating some sunlight shape of the vehicle as it's hitting the vehicle itself. That's directed light, and that is speaking to the focus of that light, which is me. Okay, that's why that same conduct the state does as it aims it on the building of the 280 North Limit Apartments. I showed you that in video and in pictures. Also, while you have 8RJU111, while you have what is Omnitrans engaging in that intentional sexually violent conduct of a demon-possessed actor. Omnitrans is demon-possessed, that African-American female, she's a demon that's focused on me. She is stalking as an employee of Omnitrans, representing that company to be exposed for that prosecution, criminally and civilly, all right? You have what is also every third party on that bus is a demon-possessed stalker that's entirely demonic, every way, okay? You are not absent and not engaged in this. It is entirely demonic. Okay, so let me break that down. It is not occurring with anyone's ignorance. No one is ignorant in that environment. That's why every single last one of them directed light, just bars of light just spanning toward me. I've showed you this in video after video. These are demons, all of them. And they're doing nothing. This is what is so incredible and unbelievable, is because they're doing nothing but stalking one person. That is the focus of the demon possessed. 8UZC348, and it is quite an admission of worthlessness. All right, in my opinion, you are admitting, and that's the secret that you don't want to know. It's literally unspoken. It's an unspoken reality in California because they act like it is not happening. 3804, 3809, 380942, I believe, but I can't really see that one. 05660F3. This is their condition is one of demon possession, and so while the state is keeping its fake sun over the parking lot and Omnitrans drives by, that which is impossible light activity, molesting and terrorizing while they are stalking and creating light activity, and doing so in concert with the people of the state, doing in concert with the state that is acting directly, stalking by helicopters, stalking by law enforcement, and stalking by the fire department. Okay, that's what Omnitrans engages in, and it's a perpetual sex offender. Okay, because that's not even naturally happening, and you are doing so with knowledge of what I'm documenting. That is the prosecution of that company, and they're acting on behalf of the entity. Not only that, 45626G3. Not only that, you have while I'm standing on the side of the S.I.I.S Liquor, this is the video that I captured, while this fake sun is not even hitting the Omnitrans bus. So as you watch them enter into shade, you see this directed light, substantial directed light appear on the sidewalk. All right, this is not only is it unnatural, it is that which is 1V4951. It is that which is not relying on the fact that Omnitrans is crossing path with me while the fake sun is hitting that vehicle, because Omnitrans engaged in that terrorizing and sexually violent conduct while it was entering into the shade as I stood on the side of the building. And by the way, that directed light did not occur while they stopped at the bus stop. On that occasion, while I'm standing by the building, they waited to engage in that sexual violence and terrorism where I was standing in the shade, where the fake sun wasn't even hitting. They're in the shade, and that directed light is still occurring. That's why I'm going to prosecute them. In addition to that, let me be clear, their documented acts of harassment is revealing what is demonic hostility, and it is reasonably it is reasonable to conclude that they are also aware. First of all, you're monitoring, and so this is based on the nature of the crime, but also you are able to see it through their conduct of harassing me, all right, on more than one occasion. They're engaged in a pattern of that, targeting 5N97311. They know exactly what I'm documenting about them. 8LWL181. And they also engage in demonic psychopath type conduct while I start documenting them under what is the fake sun. For example, I showed you at the Golden Bear Inn, which, by the way, does not coexist with being over the B&G Plaza at this time in the morning, because this is where I was. I was at the Golden Bear Inn at San Antonio and Holt, and the state's fake sun, as I showed you, was right there over me. And as I point that out and speak to what is the criminal harassment by Omnitrans, who was monitoring under that fake sun. All right, and I was pointing out the contrast. The state was keeping its fake sun as I was going to different cities. I was pointing this out. Those psychopaths, the demon-possessed of Omnitrans, then engage in doing weird stuff with their buses. All of a sudden, Route 84 appears at San Antonio, where there is no bus stop. All right, there's no bus stop at that corner, and there is no bus stop. I have never seen a Route 84 on San Antonio. Right there at all. 7KIY350. And then as I document that on my podcast, you have a Route 61, which maintains route on Holt Boulevard. Okay, that goes into Pomona up there, and it deviates from going straight down Holt. As I point out, that 84 came out of nowhere and stopped at a non-bus stop, and does so under the fake sun. That's not a coincidence. ASJY20. While the state is stalking with aircraft and molesting with directed light. 72494E2. These are demons. I'm gonna prosecute them for all of that, and they're listening to me. 7XO1521. AWBH154, and then you have what is then that Route 61 after Route 84 disappears, because these psychopaths are listening to me document them, and I'm talking about the demons of the Omnitrans. You have what is another demon driving Route 81, which is supposed to go maintaining presence, which is west on Holt Boulevard, all of a sudden turn north onto San Antonio. After I'm documenting the randomness of a Route 84 and the randomness of that stop. Whereas they are driving past me when I'm clearly visible at the bus stop, and doing so on more than one occasion under what is a fake sun and indirected light. That's not a coincidence. They are monitoring and stalking and are hostile as I document them. And they're violent sex offenders as well. AFTB634. All right, all of that's going to their prosecution. While they engage in an ongoing sexual molestation, while the fake sun is hitting their vehicle and not hitting their vehicle. It has nothing to do with that. It's directed light. All right, 6PZD617, and they are the demon possessed. 6CCJ363, and that's how the people stalk with light. They are stalking, and they do so with light, maintaining light. You are stalking in the path, maintaining light. 8EOM132, that is the criminal and demonic objective, to maintain light, maintain activity. That's what stalking with activity is. You are stalking, and as you are stalking, you are maintaining activity levels. All right, immediately following with any method of activity. That's called stalking with activity. 8BHV933, that is the criminal and demonic objective, while they are monitoring with communication devices. License plate 8WJT432, APEP692, and pay attention to that video, because that's what I showed you yesterday. I've already documented video, countless videos of Omnitrans molesting with directed light. They have been engaged in using that business line as a means of demonic activity with the people of the state and criminal conduct with the government, okay, and the people of the state. And I have countless videos of them engaging in that. It's absolutely impossible. Light activity is direct evidence against the people and against that company and what it's doing. There is no argument for that. That's never occurring under the actual sun, and that's not the sun. And it's also occurring when they're driving past me in the shade, and it's targeted to where I am. All right, 7GYN022, 8WFZ997. It is also targeted, what you are deducing, where it is occurring under that which is not the sun. Everything that they are doing is targeting me, and that's how you are getting past what is the demon's false notion of the inability to prosecute them for what is stalking. Because that's what the people of the state of California are. They're demons, thinking that they were impervious to being identified as the stalkers that they are. All right, and they are targeting you while they're in that environment that's focused on you. And they are targeting you, and they know exactly who you are while they're stalking with light. All right, and they are targeting you and harassing and sexually violating you while they know exactly what you're documenting about them. Exactly. All right, it is currently 9:07 a.m. P.O.C. Let me get these demons real quick. 7YAN172, 8YBP987, 5JHF 514, 7XJA567, I can't see that one. 5 PCT 839, 8 NCC 356, 341 UP handicap, U85 7GR, 8B 11716, 5 ERU 360. License plate 7 CPX 834. All right, just group stalking with her communication device at the driveway entrance of the B&G Plaza. The psychopath is 7YXL 845. Alrighty, and my underlying point with regard to the Ontario Police Department revealing the conduct that the Ontario Police are fully engaged in with the people of the state, that sexual molestation present with all the rest of them, while that impossible light activity is occurring in the shade, speaking to your targeting conduct, including the OPD, who engaged in the provision of a template of how you prosecute and how you handle law enforcement agencies that are of the demon possessed, posing a very violent, a serious threat to the public, all right, to society as they are maintaining that position. And it is one that's not a violation of your religious rights. They're engaging in criminal activity, all right? And what's relevant about this criminal activity is that it is that which results in public corruption. All right, it does bear a threat to, while the demon possessed are engaging in this method of targeting American citizens and then using their positions to do so while they are of that condition, demon possession. And not only that, they're engaged in a pattern of what is federal stalking, representing that office, all right, law enforcement, and that is grounds enough for the removal of that agency. Okay, but let me be clear. Like I said, what is profound about this is it is not ordinary criminal activity. This is criminal activity of those who are demon possessed. And that does have direct implications with regard to whatever your position is. And I've shown you what is the conduct of those of that condition. They are very sexually violent. They are invading your privacy in ways that you are unaware of it. I have revealed it by the pattern of conduct, but they know exactly what you're doing in a private space. These are not normal individuals, all right? They know exactly what you're doing on the opposite side of a wall, all right, as you are doing it. That's the reality of Satan as it is an operation over a people. And this is what they are ordinarily just engaging in, violating people, having that knowledge, and doing so while they're engaged in criminal activity. All right, you can't prosecute somebody for what you just know that they're doing. You have to prosecute with objective evidence, and that's what the pattern of conduct is about. Because yes, I do know that this is demon possession, and I do know that you have what is demonic insight, knowledge as to what I'm doing while you are not looking at me. All right. And I was able to get this from their pattern that they were engaging in 5DGV154. And so I endeavored to documenting what is that pattern of conduct in order that anybody can understand and witness what is a violation by a people and a government that is demon possessed. All right, so now you're understanding what is the objective conduct that you're going to prosecute. But let's go further than that, because once you understand that and you have grounds to prosecute, now understand what are the implications of that. This is demonic activity. And let me be clear, the demon possessed are in positions of government, they're in positions of law enforcement, they are in positions around vulnerable aspects of the population, 1524556. That's the sheriff. Again, they're going to federal prison. All right, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department is to be disbanded, and that's what I was showing on every surveillance camera that I could get in front of while they were kidnapping, and those demons had multiple shadows and were stalking with that activity inside of that jail, amplifying audible activity, and possible the same exact P.O.C, keeping directed light inside of that venue. Like I said, and that's a psychopath that's begging for it because they're listening to every word that I'm saying while they're stalking in the path visibly for me to see them. That's called terrorism. Like I was stating, you're talking about what is understanding not only the criminal conduct, as I've made it clear with regard to what is the P.O.C. Then you're understanding what are the implications, because you're not just a criminal, you're a demon-possessed one in positions that you have no business in. And based on understanding what that condition is, while you are a kindergarten teacher, you are engaged in sexual violence. They know what those children are doing. You're engaged in that ongoing knowledge, which is sexually perverted. And you're talking about what you would prosecute one for if they put some sort of device inside of the bathroom to watch kids go to the bathroom, or if you put some sort of device in the bathroom to listen to them in the bathroom. All right, you can prosecute for that. That's sexually violent. That's very weird. There are criminal cases for that. You can sue criminally and civilly for stuff like that. The demon-possessed don't have to put a device in the bathroom. They are engaging in that. And this is what I'm revealing. First, understand you can prosecute them for a pattern of conduct that they're engaging in that is criminal. Secondly, understand their condition, one of demon possession. These are those who need to be removed from the positions that they are in. They are sex offenders by nature, by virtue of their condition. And I have made that clear to someone who does not have that spiritual eye by showing you what is the pattern of conduct. This pattern of conduct follows into the bathroom. All right. The demon-possessed are stalking in the bathroom. They're engaged in corporate knowledge of what you're doing in the bathroom. They're stalking. They're physically stalking in the bathroom, entering in to engage in that when they already know. Okay, that is an obsessed. It's very predatory and sexually perverted. That's sexually motivated conduct. Very weird. That is terrorism in the bathroom. While you are stalking and monitoring, trying to maintain your demonic elements. That's what they're doing. Following into the private space. Okay. And this is why I'm advocating what is necessary federal law. All the ways in which the demon-possessed violate the targeted individual. All right. And so you're understanding what is a criminal system. It's criminal. It's a criminal system in operation by those that are not normal. They are of the demon possession, and they are in positions that they need not be in. All right. You don't need to be around what are children. You don't need to be around. Literally, you're sexually violating. This is of that demented condition, demon possession. They are accustomed to it. This is a demented people, so they are accustomed to it. But I maintain my constitutional right to privacy, whether the government wants to respect it or not. I'm going to prosecute it and expose it for the fact that it doesn't, and it's such a hypocrite and a criminally threatening one. In concert and given life through every group stalker, including 7KVG178. Okay? That's how the government is doing it, because these demons are giving the government life, giving it a mask, giving it form, maintaining presence all around me through 66914F3, group stalking in concert with the state, in the state's environment, intentionally so. These are the cockroaches. They're cockroaches. All right? So, like I said, 6UJK883. 7WJP212. That is the significance of what is revealing what is a pattern of conduct of criminal activity, monitoring with communication devices, commercial actors, third parties, the people of the state acting in whatever capacity that they have at their disposal, and the government, law enforcement. And it is a matter of justice of disbanding law enforcement agencies that are engaging in this egregious criminal system and are also of that condition, which is demon possession. This demented pattern of conduct, I have documented the P.O.C. It is indiscriminate with regard to that demon possession. The Ontario Police Department to the Ontario Fire Department to American Medical Response to what is the Fontana Police Department, all of them the same. I've documented them molesting with that which is unnaturally occurring, speaking to what is their condition. It is the admission, first of all, of your stalking. You know exactly who I am. You're in an unnatural environment. You're under that which is not the sun. You're stalking. You are present while I am being molested and surrounded by that which is not naturally occurring. That's not sunlight. That's directed light. You're stalking. And you are also a demon-possessed stalker in that demonic environment. It's identification of that. All right. And that is speaking to what is a matter of justice, that which goes beyond that prosecution, but removal from such positions. 8JYY158. And it's not just the government. 8XUB867, but also as you prosecute the people of the state. All right. 47963H3. It's 9:16 a.m. 7FLW675. 74363Y1, Velocity Truck Rental and Leasing. It is, by the way, 9:20 a.m. Ontario Police crossing path, driving what is south on Euclid Avenue, and appears to be making a turn onto Holt Boulevard, but they don't proceed up here where I am at the B&G Plaza, so I surmise turning onto what is what would be Lemon. I suppose by the 150 East Holt Boulevard. They made a turn though on the street and did not proceed east on Holt. 7SOL147. They remain in relevant position. That's why I'm documenting it. That is relevant positioning. It's 9:20 a.m. License plates 8KCP976 7N WW344 6UST486 7JWY702 6714W2, I believe. I'm trying to see that one. 7ZFK861
05502G2. LKRS44. 7HAZ817. 8SIB084. 21123D2. 7UIV232. It's 9:22 a.m. 8ZDY518. 8LTA814. 8GZ. 8GZD726, I believe. 6PVW691. 8VKS310. BT65J02, paper. 8SJA930. 6UP0, I can't really see that one. You can scratch that one. E287S0. 5KIZ679. 18559X2. 8UFU108. Leaving out of B&G Plaza right now at 9:24 a.m. 71676R2. 8HWF923. 8SO1889. 7BST799. 77916D2. 7TBW473. 7SCZ678. 7WJE680. 8FVT551. Omni 1545833. Bus number 2353. Direct the light on the sidewalk while they cross path. It's 9:26 a.m. God dang it. 7ZXM296. Let's see. 8A36. I can't really see that one. I can scratch that. It's 9:27 a.m. 7MPB300. 6VVR493. 8VFZ800. 8GQW576. I can't see the last three. 5BST146. 7EVJ159. 8WSI359, I believe. 8TT4857. 8C939. 8C93981. 205XV handicap. 8CDM416. 8XQZ700. 7TNM806. 6VWX. Oh, I can't see that one. I can see that one that go there. It's 9:28 a.m. License plate 7BGX114.
And here they are coming through transit. They've been stalking the entire time, inconspicuously. I'm speaking of the Ontario Police Department. That's audible activity. Ontario Police is in relevant position, monitoring with the people. All right, I wanted to capture that act of terrorism and stalking by OPD. 7WJP212. And understand what they're doing. All they're doing is visibly crossing path. They remain in relevant position as a group, stalking while the people are monitoring. They're monitoring together with communication devices. 3DQL283. 8JWS037. 8AJG199. 4VLJ506. And let's see, 7WLN768. 9678 7S2, and as 7NXJ217 8YRG198 as Ontario PD are approaching on Holt, BF99861 paper, 8LCC279. As I say that, you hear what is an engine roaring. That's audible activity in the engineered light. They are monitoring while they're stalking at a stoplight. Okay, it's the ongoing elements. 7D40070. Driving by is called crossing path, and it is the exact same demonic activity occurring through what is the presence of law enforcement. They are monitoring and they're demon possessed, equally demon possessed, stalking someone, and they're engaging in criminal conduct in doing so. It's criminal with regard to what is understanding what is terrorism, as the demon possessed are engaging in this system, and it's criminal because it's in violation of Title 18 as they are monitoring with communication devices. That is 18 U.S.C. Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. License plate 7AUN367. Eight GGU 728. 7 HRU 599. It's 9:31 a.m. and I did capture that on video. That being Ontario PD engaging in the demonstration of demon possession. All right, the ongoing documentation of what is the police engaging in the P.O.C. It's very damning to any agency as they are documenting it, as you are, the target individual is documenting it and is documenting the entity. And you have what is that environment that is present while you are crossing path. Light activity, you are in engineered light. You are in a deliberately maintained environment. And everything that I'm documenting about directed light is applying to Ontario PD as they are crossing path. Okay, and that is the outward demonstration of demon possession. That is terrorism while they're engaging in that criminal system. And you're talking about criminals monitoring with the people of the state. 8SSP 965, 7PFZ 729, 8TPG 489, 8VQH 367. Seven L28 761, 8X VJ 702, 7VYW 902, 8B. I can't really see that. I want to say 8DDK, but I can't see that. I'm not gonna guess. It's 9:32 a.m. Monitoring with Alaska Airlines 7CKC 727. 8YHG163, 8RNY345. I can't see that one. Let's see. 77693T2, 8CYP951, 8JV. I can't see the rest of it. License 4RBV136. It's 9:35 a.m. and I did capture video of what is Alaska Airlines. That's why I'm referencing them, as they are hovering over the B&G Plaza where the state's fake sun and directed light is present. That's how the airlines engage in the state's pattern of conduct. 8UJS 750, which, by the way, as I've documented, the state's fake sun is not over the Ontario airport right now. It's right here over me, as I've shown while I'm en route on that venue of Omnitrans, and the state is keeping its fake sun in the window and moving it over that property, as I've shown you in video. That is how you are, what is deducing what is intentional presence. And this is an entire entity stalking an American citizen, doing so in the incredible manner with commercial airline planes. License 7SRD 738. 7YHA 198. 640 K96, I believe, Nevada. U-Haul crossing path. 8MJB 888. 7BNM 763. ISABL 7. 6NTK 425. 8WEZ 274. 6JW, I can't see that one. 6G 56969. 8NHM 807. 5TZN 408. 8BZD 016. And also let me let you know what Alaska Airlines was used to engage in. As I completed like a little episode recording, so I was not recording. They're monitoring and deciphering that in my phone as Alaska Airlines starts creating audible activity under the fake SIN. License 5KRV799, KRS44, 8SVY287. And it is nonetheless targeting as I walk in any direction. Not only does the state keep its fake SIN over me, you see where the directed light is remaining all around me, and the state engages in that same relevant positioning above me, amplifying audible activity, 8DDY287, in both commercial airline planes and helicopter. All right, so this is identification of such third parties that are acting with the state, and it is demon possession, the same, okay? This is licensed, I don't see any, but this is Echo Environmental Cleaning Organization, LLC. Entering inside of B&G Plaza at 9:37 a.m. 8NJC 803, 5644, 8F2, 8JSB 473, 7PYN 077, 5DNH, I can't see the rest of that one. 7M, I can't see that one either. 6NDG 429, 8A, DA 378. 7RNT 740. It's 9:38 a.m. 7U16 146. 7A8 7741. 7HQD 476. 8KST 641, 7UBC 782. HM 463. B5. I can't see that one. That's a paper plate. Exiting out of B&G Plaza, 7 VCC 919. Eight ATC 303. SWE VIL1. VELOZS 5UYK 278 7ZCU 890. It's 9:40 a.m. 7AW1 7AWY 177. 8UDD031. 7LVB 311. 4TGJ 329. 8PBB 618. Estes crossing path going southbound on Euclid Avenue at 9:41 a.m. on the traffic cameras at Hall and Euclid. License 7AUZ 395. NGT 572. It's 9:41 a.m. 8 FFA. I can't see that one. 8 WVA 217. 5 WMZ 913. 8 MD 2717, I believe. 6 PXS 891. 7X10 987. 8 FKA 217. 8 VEC 322. 6 MRW 442. 6 audible activity and light activity. 6 RBL 370. Just some shadow moving across the street while this group stalker 6 RRD 904 while the state hovers over B&G Plaza. That's what you hear, plane engine under the fake sun, monitoring together. License plate, and that is Southwest Airlines. License 8HDR 948. And no plane is going to create a shadow across the street. That's called light activity. While you are stalking in a vehicle, stalking in the path, using your reverse lights, parking into simultaneous group conduct. P.O.C. 73867R2. C. I can't see that one. It's paper plate. 5AB8. I'm sorry. I can't see that one. License plate. Looks like a paper BU. And I can't see that one. 7KW Y920. Seven VXF 546 39 591R1 7GJY 159 8TQR 982 5 UBC 172 Omnitrans going eastbound, and that's Omnitrans route 61 bus number 1363. 8 XST 387 7V6 4 7V62414 City of Ontario crossing path in a dumpster truck. Let's see. 6BOG 821 15114 substantially similar. That's City of Ontario 15114 or 1514628. Seven NVJ 049. 8VCD 744. 8VC or 8VCO 744. 7ZGU 820, 8UKL 140, 77, I can't see that one, 2118, 21188D1, 78ER961, 7VPC244. BST 799, BYBH344, 8LGD 033, 77TLZ 876, 7VPR 596, license 8K, 8K XB 731, 6PEC 493. 8ELN 652. It's 9:47 a.m. $8J 5, I can't really see that one, but that is the eco cleaning the truck, I'm sorry, the van that I cited, entering into the plaza, now exiting on camera at the B&G Plaza at 9:48 a.m. and on the traffic cameras at Holt and Plum, going, turning what is to be south on Plum, 94931W2, 407RZ, handicap, 26357V2, I believe. MEOW 14, 6VNA 267, 8 RKP 544, 8 YZY 689, 7T LJ 059, 6S 39163, 4DGK 986, BE 68 L45 paper, 5KSZ 380, 8 DVV 307. 8WGG 278, 7MME 725, 3WMS 735. NRH 330. It's 9:50 a.m. That's audible activity. 7ZNH 095 3855 3V2. Good faith, monitoring and touching while they're stalking. 8LFL 853 in a good faith vehicle. License plate. 6UDS 934. Alrighty, it is 9:51 a.m. License plate 7URJ 134. 8M. I can't see that one. This is plane activity where a plane is not taking off from the airport at 9:52 a.m. Alrighty, showing Amazon Prime, Omnitrans, Dietz Towing, commercial actors, all of them of the same condition, demon possessed, engaging in what is demonic activity in a demonic environment, monitoring with communication devices. And so you have Amazon Prime, which is not taking off from the airport. It is hovering over, and as I get up to take a video of it, making a turn, and even in there trying to avoid being captured on video, you have what is remaining in relevant position as they make that turn. It is still targeted as they are turning, as they reach where I am. That's called getting in the path, and they're doing so under the fake sun, amplifying audible activity of plane engines, while directed light is on the road in front of, on the sidewalk in front of me, while Omnitrans crosses path in the shade, while Dietz Towing crosses path as well next to the bus. This is everything that I just captured right now. 6JIA 855, 6GOF 384, 7TIW 172, 92937. I can't see that one. 7MBF 187, 59E 560, Nevada 24726U2. They're all monitoring together. And it is ongoing documentation of how the people of the state use airplanes to engage in monitoring. And that's in violation of Title 18. Stalking someone in that incredible manner is also terrorism. And it is demonic at its core. All right. License plate. 4Y. I can't see that one. And that was 4W, but I can see the rest of it. It is currently 9:55 a.m. I did capture that video. They are under the fake sun, which, by the way, when I'm in the city of Upland and at the same time, 9:55 a.m., plenty of times I've been at the 7-Eleven, and you know exactly what the state was doing as it kept its fake sun over that 7-Eleven at 204 North Euclid Avenue in the city of Upland, and that's just one example. I am also en route while the state is keeping that which is stationary over me here in Ontario at the B&G Plaza, en route while I am traveling to Fontana, to the Fontana Lewis Library. I've shown that as well, and that is how you are identifying what is stalking by the Ontario Police, by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, by Amazon Prime, by Southwest Airlines, by Alaska Airlines, by Omnitrans. Running a bus line is no form for the demon-possessed who are monitoring American citizens in that demonic environment. That impossible light activity is what is tethering all of that together. It is terrorism while the demon-possessed are operating this monitoring system. License plate 8SMU523. And the United States Postal Service is patrolling as well, patrolling up and down patrolling up and down Hope Boulevard, and doing so as I'm capturing that video, turning from what is Hope Boulevard onto Transit, and patrolling up and down Hope Boulevard under the same exact facts. License plate 8RDK250, TAW 8199-22337X2, 6VHX 614, 8VQD 309. City of Ontario crossing path again. 1560780. That's City of Ontario. The dumpster truck. License plates 8MSV186. And let me be clear, Amazon crossing path using its airplanes is equally molesting my person while they're engaging in this monitoring together under that fake sun, creating audible activity while I'm being molested. You're a sex offender. Creating light activity while I'm under the fake sun. You're a sex offender. They're all touching together while they're monitoring together. Okay, this is sexual violence. 6TFD574 while I'm being molested under that which is not the sun, and you're monitoring with that entity. BU43P74. That's how you're prosecuting that sex offender. That is the state of California. That is touching, and necessarily so, while they are engaging in this demonic activity. License 21880D1. I believe 2188. They're trying to reverse all the way back to toward the transit drive-through. United States Postal Service is loitering in relevant position as well inside of the plaza. It is currently directed light is on the building while that third party crosses path in the driveway, reversing over there. I'm going to get that license plate. It's the same exact demonic activity where United States Postal Service, a demon wearing that uniform and creating light activity under the state's fake sun. There is no form for the demons. This is how they engage in public corruption in plain sight. and that demon reversing, and as they turn, directed light across the storefront, that is license plate. C, let's first get this one, 6CNJ 751, and then the other one is license 21188D1. That's what that is. P.O.C. It is 9:58 a.m. All right, license plate 7VCA 919, directed light. License plate 5XIY 225. Crossing path with directed light, and USPS is monitoring to that. Alrighty. It is 10 a.m. on the dot, and that's where the state's fake sun is. Not over the Upland Public Library. It is not over the Fontana Lewis Library. It is not over while I'm in transit on the Omnitrans bus headed toward what is the Fontana Lewis Library, or even while I've documented at this time being in the city of Upland, showing what was the apartment where I was subject to federal stalking, unbeknownst to me at that time. And I also showed you at 10 a.m. where the state's fake sun was, and the Upland Police Department and Burtec Waste Management, who now engages in crossing path out here in Ontario, 04874W2. Since I documented that, I'm also over there at 10 o'clock in the morning showing you what is stalking with light. And that is what is documentation of the United States Postal Service. A demon wearing nothing but a uniform bearing the United States Postal Service, which is relevant for what is the government systematically monitoring American citizens. Demon possessed equally, okay? An entirely demented environment. A demon bearing that uniform, driving in that vehicle is no form for what is a demon possessed stalker. Monitoring American citizens. It's 10:01 a.m. 8SIZ 209, 8Z17600. All right, you're going to want to pay attention to the video that I captured, what I captured right now. As I walk around, first of all, I took pictures of what is the movement of the state's fake sun from being in alignment with me at the bus bench to being keeping presence over my head as I walk around to capture that light activity while demons are driving around me in the parking lot, 62268F3, and directed light is moving underneath a shaded structure that's reaching with light to surround with that engineered light, RUIZ07. 8KCC 162, while you have what is a demon delivering mail in the environment under the fake sun, monitoring together, okay? The outward appearance of that demon, the outward activity of what that demon appears to be engaging in is nothing but presence in the exact same environment. And it is demonic activity, and the United States Postal Service engaging in that. And like I pointed out in the video, United States Postal Service engaging in the same molestation with directed light while they drive by under the fake sun as well. 8UQH491, which is what I was documenting yesterday, while they were engaged in that ongoing sexual violence as they were hostile to my naming their license plates, including the Ontario Police, including the Ontario Fire Department, and the paramedic vehicles, 19279J3. Alrighty, it is currently 10:03 a.m. And this documentation showing what I showed yesterday, for example, which I have already established, but this was an ongoing vivid illustration of what is to be the prosecution of the people of the state that the government is necessarily acting with, and are all demon possessed. This is demonic, demented, depraved conduct that is being operated by a government. It is criminal, but their condition is one of demon possession. That is to be prosecuted as what is terrorism, while they engage in that criminal system of stalking with light, stalking with activity, and stalking as a pack that they are. The people of the state are nothing but a pack of demons monitoring in concert with the government, monitoring with communication devices in violation of existing federal law. And as I show what is the state stalking with that light source and stalking with directed light, stalking with the people, you have what is the absence of the state's light source remaining over the 280 North Limit Apartments. 7UOG 751, as I pointed out yesterday as well, 7BYL438. And as I walk over to the library, then it's over there. That is not going to be seen, though, while I'm already at the library, because if that's the sun, then you should be able to capture it from that relative point. It's remaining over my head as I walk over there, not over that building where I'm documenting at the same time I'm already over there. All right, this is movement with that light source. and remaining 7FOB926. And that's a psychopath stalker, a demon-possessed one. Equally operating in the law enforcement agencies, with the sheriffs, with the fire departments, the people of the state, any company you want to name. All right? 8PMV247, 4VYW274, 6ECY 528, and 5723OT2. And 10:05 a.m. and this is P.O.C. Make sure I have all my stuff. License plates C 7VPW 758 and 5PLM 497. 6L57053, 6PQZ 175, 8REP 169, 6LFZ 375, 8YFC 345. Let's see. 7LGE 191. I'm capturing what is the fake sun over that group stalker that is stalking with activity. So as I change my function to take a picture of what is the fake sun directly over the barbershop while I stand there, they're engaging in what is called crossing a path. That's how you stalk with activity, maintaining presence. As they move their vehicles, the state is aiming directed light all over the building. 6UJK883, 8MPY906. And that's the terrorizing conduct by what are cockroaches, all right? Light crawling all over the place, and they are crawling all over the place while they are stalking you, 6T67499, and the movement of the state's fake sun in alignment with me while they do so, all right? That is what I took a picture of, and you're looking at what is the fake sun directly over that vehicle that is immediately already present, ready to get in position as I change operations on my phone. 13000R2. 8E24699, 7BFV 451, 6L57053. This is paper. BU72G97. That's a paper plate. 7XIV490 108 51J2. 6T6. I can't see that one. Two 858-483. Seven HAH238. PWE M49, that's a Florida plate. And that is plane activity, 10:08 a.m. That is UPS flying directly over my head as the fake sun is also moving from its position remaining over the B&G Plaza. And you're clearly seeing that fake sun, which yesterday as I remained at the B&G Plaza, it's remaining where I'm sitting at that bus bench. 6ZBJ 903. 8RWT530, 6NGT383, 8TZD 681, 8LNJ218, 50244M2, 4YWC707, 7SKB932, 7UO6282, 4XXD406, 4SOH973, 8HDL613, 5JUG292, 4PGS702, 8XSP162, and 8TJL399. That is audible activity from 4 Paws Boutique. This is the address of, and by that I mean she comes out with a wind blower while directed light sweeps across the storefront. That's audible activity and light activity. This is 222 Holt Boulevard. That's P.O.C. while UPS flies over my head under the fake sun. That's P.O.C. All right, license plate 8TSD441. All right, and these demons 7GEL982. Directed light in the shade 7CIP206. Stalking demon. License plate directed light 8WJJ071. License 8UWV310. License plate 7CGH154. 6XDO181. 7AKN222. 8VSH456. 8XEV058. 8VEF822. BO213. I can't see that one. 7NMY281. 7ZJB502. 28957A1. 23425B1. All right, all of them have directed light, and this is ongoing documentation of what the Ontario Police Department are engaged in, the Sheriff's Department, Amazon Prime, Alaska Airlines, Southwest Airlines, UPS, as they are targeted as well while the state is moving that fake sun, and the people are stalking while directed light is following as they are crossing path. Impossible methods with light, speaking to their condition, which is demon possession, and they are indeed stalking. 8AXV028, 7FJM970. License plate BS77L95 paper 6DZR960. That maintenance of light in the shade, which I showed you also a rich video of Omnitrans engaging in that's called the maintenance of light. That's a stalker. That's a group stalk. That's group stalking conduct. Stalking with light. Keeping light around you, which has nothing to do with driving a vehicle in the shade. That is the demonic practice of the entity as it is maintaining the three elements while they are stalking together vicariously on behalf of the entity, the state of California. License 8KWL658. And that is what that group stalker comes out of that EA studio next to Four Paws Boutique. She comes out as I am in operation of my phone to document. She's using whatever she has to keep noise, that's audible activity in the engineered light, while the demon possessed drive by and directed light is manifesting in the shade, swiping across that building. And this is after I capture the picture of UPS flying directly over my head and the fake sun is directly over my head. All right, and it is 10:13 a.m. Just 24 hours earlier, as I remain at the B&G Plaza, the state was keeping its fake sun stationary over me while I sat at that bus bench at the B&G Plaza. Okay, and that is what these airlines are engaging in. It's targeting in the same way that the people are targeting. It is the same entity. It is the people using their commercial airlines to stalk together, practicing demonic activity, terrorizing American citizens while they're monitoring them. 6ZLM984, 5VSS480. 8VCW573, 4MCS072, 5UAE144. And you're also speaking to understand that is the demonic system underway. I was not even at that third party's location, right? So in other words, she did not see me. And I want to be clear, this is the entity that maintains corporate knowledge of where you at, who you are, all right? And that 09057C3. And this is not an ongoing coincidental act of maintaining such elements. It is the pattern and it is demonic. They're of one demonic mindset. I think I read that one already. 4NHC 969. And so in other words, 8KAF 734. You are not coincidentally, hold on, showing you a picture of that third party whose license plate I just read, 8KAF. She's engaging in surveillance, stalking in the path, parked on the sidewalk, aside third-party facility in Vinny Metro 102. And I showed you what is the fake sun while she is stalking in the path. She begins driving off. She's maintaining presence on the sidewalk. All right, that's the same thing that Enrique's income tax, that group stalker who's trimming her flowers. She's maintaining perfect alignment with me while the state's fake sun is in perfect alignment over my head as I'm walking south on the same street. That's exactly what the Ontario Police Department were engaging in at the Circle K at Vineyard and Holt Boulevard inside of that gas station parking lot area of the 76/Circle K with their lights on their vehicle while I am being molested with directed light. That's how I have multiple shadows. It's called group stalking. And demons are maintaining positioning. It's absolutely intentional position placement of their person in alignment with me. That's what they're doing, and I'm showing you the fake sun that's over her while she's doing it. 6MTX425. It is 10:15 a.m. License plate 95910D1. M2. And I also took a picture last night of that the state that was hovering in an airplane over that location where the Ontario Police Department were maintaining light and positioning directly across the street from me, as the state does with its fake sun, maintaining perfect alignment. and doing so with their vehicle lights. And while the state is hovering in an aircraft, and it was hovering over that Jack-in-the-Box, I want to be clear, that distance, they are not taking off from the airport while they're hovering over me at Euclid and Hull, at the Stater Brothers, where I showed you Frontier Airlines engaging in that conduct, or I'm showing you what is, while I'm at the Starbucks, I've documented this, Southwest Airlines flying directly over, for example. I'm showing you what is Delta Airlines flying over the 280 North Lemon Apartments, I documented that on my podcast. They're hovering over the apartment building. You're not taking off from the Ontario airport. That plane was hovering over the Jack-in-the-Box because that's where I was at. All right, and you're talking about that ongoing group conduct. So you're not just looking at the state that's hovering in an airplane, speaking to stalking conduct while I'm in directed light. It is coexisting with the other elements. That was the Ontario PD maintaining light. All right, that's that cooperative group conduct. They're demons targeting together. All right, and you're looking at that cooperative effort. So coming out with a leaf blower is audible activity in engineered light. All right, while they all are maintaining that ongoing perpetual engagement in the criminal elements of light activity and relevant positioning. It's entirely demented, and that is how the entity is monitoring through the people of the state. It is currently 10:17 a.m. And as I documented yesterday, as the state is keeping its fake sun over the B&G Plaza, which I showed, it kept its fake sun until well after 3 p.m. And then it keeps its fake sun as I travel then east to go to that Stater Brothers, the Ontario Airport Plaza. This is not the sun that I'm showing you that is here present at 10:18 a.m. And it wasn't the sun as I documented it tons of times before. I'm showing you what is stalking with light. And it is also impossible to coexist with maintaining that which is not the sun. This is necessarily not the sun as it is now over the 280 North Lemon Apartments as I am at the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. But this also goes without saying, because the state is keeping its fake sun over the Upland Public Library at the same exact time, aiming what is not sunlight, it's directed light, and I'm showing you that literal light object over the ceiling, outside of the windows, along D Street, as it keeps it there all day long. All right, that is mutually exclusive conduct, and it is stalking with light. It is not maintaining presence over 280 North Lemon Apartments, and also suggesting that this is the sun that's not possibly the sun that I'm looking at and capturing in video and images, which is also coexisting with what is directed light. I've got multiple shadows in that Upland Public Library. I'm showing you what is directed light inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, where the state is also keeping its fake sun over the roof and that other city at that venue. All right, but this coexists just 24 hours ago. I'm remaining at the bench of the B&G Plaza, and the state kept its fake sun there. All right, and then kept it there in direct conflict with being over the entrance where I could capture it of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. That's what the state just did yesterday. But my documentation has already established that the state is stalking with a light source that is not possibly the sun, and that is identifying what are stalkers in a deliberately maintained environment that is conducive to monitoring, and it is the practicing of what is demonic activity. As you stalk with light, you stalk with activity, and you are stalking as a group. It's demonic conduct, and it is terrorism, while the government is operating that system for purposes of Title 18 criminal activity monitoring with communication devices. And the state's fake sun is indeed at 10:20 a.m. while I'm here over the 280 North Lemon Apartments, and that's in direct conflict with what I was documenting yesterday, and I'm going to get that right now. All right, it is 11:38 a.m. I just want to document the entity engaging in that ongoing surveillance, that ongoing terrorism, that exact same pattern of conduct, while the entity is concentrating altogether on myself while I'm inside of what is referred to as a private space, where the government is violating your privacy, engaging in surveillance in the private space, engaging in the three elements as they are maintained systematically. And that is literally an entire government and the people of the state that are focused on you engaging in that P.O.C. while you're in the private space. Also, you're speaking to what is the demon possessed, and you are talking about an unprecedented level of invasion of privacy. And I want to document that I showed what is the state's fake sun in direct conflict with not only what I documented 24 hours ago, but what is an ongoing pattern of stalking with light, speaking to what is the inherent sexual violence while the government is monitoring you. And that is what I am subject to right now. It's 11:39 a.m. The state engaging in amplified audible activity as I am entering inside. The entity is maintaining presence at the entrance of the library, at the circulation desk, third-party group stalkers that are doing nothing but engaging in surveillance inside of the venue that is filled with directed light. That is, as I walk from anywhere, I have multiple shadows, and this is also directed light inside of the bathroom. And I just want to document this is P.O.C. while the entity is currently engaged in what is also the other aspect of sexual violence, monitoring inside of the private space. It's 11:39 a.m. and the state's fake sun is not over the B&G Plaza. It is directly over, as I showed in video, the 280 North Lemon Apartments. All right, and that is the entity entering inside of the private space. This is the demon-possessed stalker stalking in the bathroom. That's relevant positioning and activity creation in the same exact demented environment. All right, it is currently 11:39 a.m. And let me be clear, like I said, the sex offender, that is the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, all those engaging in the P.O.C. outside under the fake sun are monitoring while you are in the private space and that entity stalks in the bathroom. And that is all that you are doing inside of that demented environment. This is documentation of that. That's amplified audible activity while the entity is maintaining presence in the bathroom. This is Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. It's 11:40 a.m. All right, that is amplified audible activity. And understand this is going to the prosecution of what is Sean Thrasher. All right, he's a demon-possessed stalker. He's a sex offender, and he's monitoring me in concert while my panties are down and engaging in what was criminal summoning while he is hostile to documenting the fact that he is monitoring American citizens and sexually violating one who was documenting that sexual violence inside of the bathroom, which is the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. The demon-possessed are maintaining presence while the state is amplifying audible activity, and they are patrolling in what is directed light, and that is to maintaining presence in bathroom stalls while they're maintaining what is relevant positioning, light activity creation, and audible activity. Maintaining ongoing corporate knowledge of when my panties are up and down, and they are corporately monitoring what I'm doing on my phone as I document it as well. Remember, this is Sean Thrasher, who I'm going to prosecute. That state keeping its fake sun over this venue. Directed light fills the venue, for which I'm also going to prosecute him, representing the state facilitating venue, that is the Ovitt Family Community Library, facilitating that ongoing sexual violence while he is engaging in what is speaking to federal prison, threatening me with the Ontario Police, the demon-possessed agency with whom he is monitoring. And that same exact venue is who is engaging in patrolling inside of this bathroom right now. That's audible activity in directed light. It's 11:46 a.m. and the state also amplifying audible activity. And the same exact directed light that I'm showing you as I enter, the same fake sun that's over this venue as I document 24 hours, it's remaining over the B&G Plaza, remaining over me as I walk up and down Plum Avenue, is that same artificial light source while they are stalking in a bathroom. Sean Thrasher. I told him I'm going to prosecute him because he's monitoring my documentation, and I am. He's a sex offender facilitating that violence. And this is stalking in the bathroom. Go ahead, dry your hands. This is audible activity. P.O.C. And I'm going to show you what is the fake sun. It is, by the way, 11:47 a.m. Group stalking, tracking my steps, crossing path, his license plate, 4W39857, directed light while he crosses path and the fake sun remains over the Ovitt, while this same demon-possessed entity, including the Ontario PD who are monitoring with 7GRC437, directed light on the sidewalk while they're stalking. Understand they're engaging in this demonic conduct while the entity enters the bathroom, creating audible activity, and the state is amplifying audible activity. That is the sexually violent pattern of conduct. Violent sex offenders who already know you're in the bathroom, tracking your steps as I walk out of the venue under what is not the sun, okay? That is P.O.C. And like I said, I keep stating his name because I'm going to prosecute him. And that is grounds for federal prison when you criminally summon and engage in that threatening conduct while you are monitoring and engaging in what is sexual violence. It's 11:48 a.m. All right, documenting the presence of the state's fake sun. This is the circumstances under which the entity is monitoring in a private space while they already maintain knowledge as the demon-possessed entity acting on behalf of the government that your panties are down, that you're in that private space, that you don't even have a communication device in your hand, and it's the obsessive conduct underway. And like I stated, I'm documenting what is the engagement of the elements as I just document their presence. This is relevant positioning, audible activity while the state is creating and they are creating it. That is the second element of activity creation, and directed light, which is present. That is federal stalking in that private space period. But I've gone further in showing what is that malicious and sexually violent targeting conduct that they go further with. Hi, can you let me back in the study room, please? It's currently 11:51 a.m. and I did capture that, showing what is the venue where the entity is stalking in a bathroom. That's a criminalization of everything, speaking to a very violent sex offender offender and that pattern of conduct of harassment. And thank you. And what is criminal summoning while they're engaging in that P.O.C. Okay, this is the same conduct with regard to harassing via underage demon-possessed stalkers. This is the same pattern of conduct engaging in what is threatening and harassing conduct with some lily white demon-possessed group stalker who is monitoring me in a dark parking lot while the state is flying and stalking by commercial airlines, planes and helicopters over my head, replete with the Fontana Police Department and helicopter, and ongoing molestation of my person. These are the grounds upon which federal prison is required as a matter of justice. And this is a venue engaging in a determination to engage in that sexual violence while you are documenting the P.O.C. All right, that is very relevant to the ways in which they are going to be prosecuted. And I'm speaking to specifically Sean Thrasher, who provided written documentation, which is an admission, first of all, and it is in writing because the P.O.C. is established and you are monitoring me and engaging in what is a threatening act, threatening the liberty of the target individual pursuant to what is knowledge of what I'm documenting. All right, so this is the malice with which the demon-possessed engage in the P.O.C. And that's why I'm citing Sean Thrasher, because that was, not only have I documented him specifically engaging in demonic activity inside of this venue, you're talking about using your position to engage in that harassing conduct. That is obstruction of justice, what I documented Sean Thrasher engaging in. While I am documenting, that is confronting an entity that is monitoring through the Ovid Family Community Library, who has what is a fake sun and directed light outside and inside, and crossing path while the demon-possessed are monitoring me at this venue. That same entity entered inside of the restroom with knowledge of documentation, and that is the ongoing sexual violence, okay? Over and under the age of 18, facilitated by those who are using their minion children, and regardless of the fact that the condition of those, because demon possession is not limited to 18, you're talking about revealing what is demonic activity and the criminal system underway by the demon-possessed, and all the ways in which they do that, and that is speaking to the criminal conduct while you're including children in that P.O.C., which is terrorism in concert and on behalf of a government with knowledge of the fact that you're being documented, speaking to an unlawful threat that is terrorizing as well. And it's 11:53 a.m. and that's P.O.C. I did capture that on video. All right, I just want to give some analytical notes with regard to witnessing stalking with light, and that is significant with regard to an ongoing pattern of conduct of not only terrorism, as this is a demonic pattern of conduct, it is accomplishing a criminal purpose by government that is monitoring with communication devices and doing so in concert with the people of the state. And this is the identification of also any third party and or venue where that ongoing criminal system is underway. And as I have demonstrated, there is no location where the government is monitoring you and the state, the public entity that is monitoring you everywhere. I'm showing you what is our venues that are remaining everywhere that you go as the entity is stalking with light, stalking in the path, and stalking with activity. You're looking at what is the third parties that surround. There is no exception to that, and or state actors, as the state acts directly. But with regard to the people of the state, third parties being no exception to that, while they are in what is an environment that is everywhere that you go, third parties are surrounding, regardless of what their specific identity is or the ways in which they are present in the path as a third party. That is, whether you're there in some commercial capacity on behalf of the state, in the state's environment, or whether you are there in some professional capacity, calling yourself being at work in the environment, adding to the environment, exercising the same demonic behavioral patterns, and or whether you are present as the state acting directly, stalking under what is the state's helicopter stalking conduct, stalking with the state, where the state is engaged in the pattern of conduct of stalking via third-party commercial airline planes, stalking with the state where it is present, stalking via law enforcement and fire department and ambulance. All right, those are methods of the state acting directly. And in my video documentation, my point being, as I'm revealing what is ongoing documentation of sexual violence by the people of the state, the sex offender, that is the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, a state facilitating venue, because this is not, this is relevant to what is the city of Ontario with regard to the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. And so it is not a third party facilitating venue. I am updating that to what is a state facilitating venue. This is just based on the identification of this type of venue. And you have what is the, as I documented this morning at 10:20 a.m., I'm showing you what is the state's fake sun over the 280 North Lemon Apartments, which is now where the state is placing its fake sun, because I have documented also before where the state was engaging in, as I would arrive at this venue, placing it right next to the building
opposite the 280 North Lemon Apartments, meaning on Ovid Family Community Library, the state will place its fake sun right there next to the entrance above that structure. All right, the state was doing that as well. The state was aiming its fake sun in different areas. This is the pure purpose of that is clearly stalking with a light source that is not the sun. But I have also shown through the wealth of my documentation where the state is moving that fake sun and doing so after this is mere inconsistency with that which is not the sun. But I have shown documentation where it's not even keeping it over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. It's keeping it on the side, for example, as I don't go inside, but I sit on the outside, on the exterior of the library. State's keeping its fake sun in between the senior center and those 280 North Lemon Apartments. As I enter, I have documented the state placing its fake sun right there adjacent to the library itself, as opposed to being over the seating area of the 280 North Lemon Apartments. Those are referred to as the Ontario Senior Housing Parter. That's what that community is called, where the state is patrolling via commercial airlines planes, as I've documented in hundreds of videos, stalking, hovering over by helicopter, flying in circles over me, flying over the entrance of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library in helicopter, and flying over the Ontario Town Square in the same helicopters, just circling around. I've documented all this already. And this morning at 10:20 a.m., I'm showing what is a fake sun, and I'm making that immediate contrast with what the state was doing yesterday at 10:20 a.m., again, where I'm remaining at the B&G Plaza at 410 East Holt. And that is a migration, as I'm stating, while I'm capturing this, and I'm remaining at the B&G Plaza, and I am facing south, capturing the sun, which is remaining over the parking lot of that B&G Plaza. So I am facing what is center ice. I'm facing what is transit. I'm facing south. Now, while I'm at the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library this morning at 10:20 a.m., where I'm capturing video of following with the light source, and you have what that is not the sun, because you have, first of all, it's hovering, and you're also looking at what is directed light that's surrounding. But I'm just showing a consistency with my documentation and understanding how the entity is monitoring and what the state of California is doing. And this is with regard to engaging in what is terrorism. This is absolutely demonic, and this is a terrorizing environment, while the entity is monitoring the documentation and engaging in this conduct of stalking with light. And with a fake sun is not only a means of molesting my person. This is a stalker that is touching. This is the government, and that shall be prosecuted as not only terrorism, but as a sex offender, being the state of California, acting vicariously through the people of the state, which is a massive molestation while they are all monitoring together, and also molesting with what is another method of stalking with light, directed light. While the state is present over the 280 North Lemon Apartments today, November 27th at 10:20 a.m. I am at the same time, 10:20 a.m. I am remaining at the B&G Plaza, where I am standing at that property, and I am facing south. Which is the opposite direction of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, first of all. And this is actually the sun. All right, you can go through the same analysis of that is actually the sun, as I am at the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library at, first of all, what is an earlier time than yesterday. If that was the sun, then yesterday over the B&G Plaza, then it would be remaining over the B&G Plaza. Of course, this is unnatural. The actual sun is not remaining over a single address for the duration of a day, for a series of hours, all right? And that's also not sunlight, okay? But I'm just going through the analysis. If that was actually the sun remaining over the B&G Plaza parking lot, as I'm facing south in order to capture it in picture and video, while the people of the state are molesting with directed light and engaging in what is surveillance, perpetual maintenance in the path, vicariously on behalf of that state that is keeping that fake sun over that parking lot as I'm facing south, then I would not be able to capture it hovering over the 280 North Lemon Apartments, as I am necessarily what would be north, and then to be at that entrance. That is a migration, what is north to be, and as I am facing the same direction south, all right, I'm capturing the state's fake sun as I am north of the B&G Plaza, and it is hovering over me, and north of that location at the B&G Plaza, the state's fake sun is still hovering over me, seen visible over the Ontario Senior Housing Parter, the 280 North Lemon Apartments, all right, and also what are you looking at? The coexisting stalking presence of the people, and as they are driving in a turn circle, these are demons that are engaging in pacing, and it is gratuitously provided by a turn circle. But understand, the demon possessed very often engage in very demented conduct, walking in circles or driving in circles or flying in circles in their engineered light. These are demons in their element. And they engage in that conduct by pacing around. They also do the same thing as you are driving back and forth and you are acting as one group, demon possessed. This is an ongoing pacing by one actor, the people of the state who are maintaining perpetual presence in that engineered light. So I just want to break that down. But regardless, what you have is, as I have moved what is northwest to be at the entrance of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, whereas at the same time, it is remaining present over me as I'm facing south at the B&G Plaza. I would not be able to capture that as I remain at that B&G Plaza, okay? And the other thing that you are witnessing, first of all, you have what is... So in other words, I wouldn't be able to capture that if that was actually the sun. I'm capturing this hovering light source directly above the building of the 280 North Limit Apartments, and that is not coexisting while I am what is south of that location, facing south in order to capture the fake sun that's over the B&G Plaza. Those are mutually exclusive, right? So while I'm at the B&G Plaza and it's hovering over 280 North Limit Apartments, I would have to be facing north in order to capture that. Right. And while I am at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library facing south, capturing this light source directly over the 280 North Limit Apartments, that is not going to be capable of my capturing that hovering over that apartment building while I am at this position at the library where it is captured, and I am what is south of that location. And the state is hovering right behind me at that parking lot of the B&G Plaza. These are mutually exclusive, and that is a necessary migration to keep that hovering direct presence over me in what is also directed light, okay? And this is the significance of the maintenance of an environment inside of a bathroom. While that entity maintains ongoing knowledge of who I am and where I am, and as I exit the venue, it's not a coincidence that they are patrolling, and that is repeatedly crossing paths, driving in a circle, by the way. It's demonic, and under what is not a sun, and doing so as I am exiting, that is knowledge of where I am as I am there, and that ongoing directed light, which is never occurring, even if that was the sun, even if you want to unreasonably dismiss the documentation of what is stalking with the fake sun. That is directed light. That is also direct evidence of stalking with light and knowledge of who I am and knowledge of what I'm doing. That ongoing knowledge and that ongoing perpetual maintenance of the elements of criminal monitoring is sexually violent as it is occurring inside of the private space. And the entity is doing that same exact conduct while I am inside of the bathroom, as it also goes to the extent of entering inside to stalk inside of the bathroom, knowing exactly where I am inside of the venue. All right. And this is how you have that conduct. And that's exactly what you are witnessing as they are crossing path, and directed light is moving across the curb, moving across the street while they are driving under that which is not the sun. And that is not sunlight that occurs if you are driving underneath the sun, which, by the way, is not mutually remaining central over your head as you are at the B&G Plaza at 410 East Holt, where I remain for large portion of the day. And I'm showing this yesterday at 10:20 a.m. Today, I am showing the fake sun over the 280 North Limit Apartments. Yesterday at 10:20, I still remained at the B&G Plaza. I step out today to show you what is stalking with light while this entity that is demon possessed and a violent sex offender is stalking inside of the bathroom. And that's what I'm showing you. Yesterday, November 26th, I am actually showing you what is the state's fake sun after I am in the 280 North Limit Apartments parking lot, and I'm showing you what is directed light. It's just appearing out of nowhere, and it is on the same side of what the fake sun is. So I am in that parking lot, and I'm facing the fake sun, and I'm also facing what is directed light in front of me. That is not light that's occurring from something you want to try to argue is the sun, and it is within the pattern however, of stalking with light, keeping light on surfaces around me. It's entirely demonic, and that is a documentation of what is terrorism, while the state is stalking with that environment. While I'm in that parking lot of the 280 North Limit Apartments, and by the way, that video is showing what is the departure from remaining over the 280 North Limit Apartments. As I'm standing in the parking lot of the 280 North Limit Apartments, I would have to face what is north in order to capture it, as it's peeking right over the edge while I'm standing in front of the entrance of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. It's very precise with regard to my location. Right. And so you're talking about not only is this documentation of stalking with light, molesting with directed light, that is not sunlight, that is a hovering light source, engaging in what is following, remaining over my head, maintaining that central presence as I walked from the B&G Plaza to the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, documenting the fact that it was closed, documenting the moving light source that's then over the 280 North Limit Apartments, and that is later in the day. Okay, this is after 11 o'clock as I'm documenting this, and I'm speaking of November 26, 2021. Then I walk through the parking lot, and I show what is that pattern of light that's just appearing on the door that says stairs of the 280 North Limit Apartments, and that is the departure from remaining over the 280 North Limit Apartments as I'm showing right now at 11:48 a.m. today. Okay, this is stalking with light, and that is the sex offender that's stalking in the bathroom. And this is why I am speaking to what is the prosecution of state actors such as Sean Thrasher, who is a demon-possessed stalker and what is a facilitating venue, exercising what is demonic hostility, but it is also relevant for what is speaking to what is federal prison, while the targeted individual who is indeed being monitored by the government, including inside of that private space, which is egregiously sexually violent and predatory and sexually motivated conduct, while you're engaging in that conduct, maintaining ongoing knowledge, going to that terrorizing effort to stalk inside of the private space and make your presence known, which is already perceptible through what is that environment that the entity is stalking with. Okay. And so this is why I'm referencing that, because this is ongoing evidence of what I've already documented here and what I documented yesterday. And you're looking at what is ongoing stalking with light. This is relevant to what the entity is doing in the bathroom as I'm documenting what is activity creation, relevant positioning, and patrolling inside of that private space and inside of the venue, also filled with what is directed light, which I have also documented. While they are sitting in a demented environment, and you're looking at the shadows of the chairs, an upright chair that is sitting inside of a building under what is ordinary light, the pattern of the tops of those chairs is not going to be flat on the ground. That is the demented light activity. All right. And this is what you are observing. They have multiple shadows, magnified size of their shadows, shadows that are morphing around their persons as they move back and forth pursuant to what I am doing as I am doing it. These are the demon possessed engaging in that. And that same demonic conduct occurring inside of a bathroom where you are monitoring with communication devices and doing so in concert, as I stated, with the Ontario Police Department while I'm in the city of Ontario, at least. All right. With the Fontana Police Department while I'm inside of the Fontana or whatever city that you are. This is the pattern of conduct underway. And so I just want to point that out because I documented this on video. And at 48 a.m. where I am at what is, in the parking lot yesterday, as I have documented the state's fake sun over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. My video today that I captured is the timestamp of it is 11:48 a.m. So let me be clear. I captured the state's fake sun over the venue of the 280 North Lemon Apartments, maintaining presence over me as I enter the venue of the Ovid Family Community Library at 10:20. I stepped out to show you what is stalking with light, the maintenance of the state's fake sun, as I'm documenting what is federal stalking by an entity in the bathroom at 11:48 a.m. 11:48 a.m. yesterday on November 26th, I am documenting what is the departure from that location over the 280 North Lemon Apartments as I am in the parking lot on the opposite side of that entrance where I would not be able to capture that light source if that was actually the sun over the tip of the edge of the 280 North Lemon Apartments, such that I can capture it in video while I'm standing at the entrance portion of the Ovid Family Community Library. All right, and this is the significance. It's exactly 24 hours later, and that's what I'm referencing with regard to 11:48 on November 26th, 11:48 today on November 27th. And what am I doing after 11:48? I proceed to walk back to the B&G Plaza where the state kept its fake sun for the duration of the day. I captured it up until 3:15 on video, while I'm on the bus then at 3:34 p.m. and I'm showing you what is directed light as I'm being molested, and I'm showing you the enlarged size of my hand while the state is then moving its fake sun after remaining over the B&G Plaza for the entirety of a day, and that is the entirety of a day, but 8 a.m. until after 3 p.m., following me to remain over my head to the Ovid Family Community Library and back to the B&G Plaza, and then migrating necessarily so, aiming directed light on that Omnitrans bus as I go east on Hope Boulevard to get to the Starbucks at 111 North Vineyard Avenue that is filled with demons who I captured also on video while they are stalking inside of that venue. American Medical Response is stalking in the parking lot, and what is also the grounds covered with what is directed light, that ongoing demented environment. And that's the significance of what is the prosecution of actors such as Sean Thrasher engaging in what is criminal summoning. That's grounds for federal prison. All right, the entity kidnapping is the P.O.C. While you are documenting and exercising essentially your constitutional rights, your human rights to not be subject to sexual violence by government and the people of the state who are demon-possessed, demented, and depraved stalkers, monitoring and targeting an American citizen who is documenting it, well within my rights to do so, and necessarily so because this is what the government is practicing, and it is that which is entirely demented, all right? And kidnapping is an aspect of that P.O.C. And as I documented on September 20th, where the state kept its fake sun over that venue, and then I went on to document the city of Upland, which is simultaneously documenting the city of Ontario, all right? And so you have what is federal stalking by an entity in the bathroom. 11:48, I'm showing you what is the fake sun that's remaining over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. And that state's fake sun remains over this venue, as I have shown, well after 3 p.m. And the state, acting via the Ontario police, who are tracking my every move, including when my panties are down inside of the bathroom. know exactly what I'm doing, engaging in surveillance and sexually predatory and sexually motivated conduct of a demented character, while they are monitoring with communication devices in concert with the people of the state, demons entering inside of a bathroom to stalk and monitor you, all right, while they are already maintaining knowledge of what you're doing inside of those walls and within those ceilings and those doors, okay? It is currently 12:17 p.m. and that is speaking to what I'm documenting and understanding the significance of that stalking with light and what it is revealing, what it is probative of, and speaking to what is, as a matter of justice, what's going to be the grounds for that prosecution. The state's fake sun is remaining over the B&G Plaza yesterday, as I showed, at 12:04 p.m., 12:45 p.m., 3:15 p.m., and that is going to be in direct conflict with what I've already documented at this venue, the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, whereas I remain inside of it. The entity is engaging in an ongoing pattern of conduct. That's the identification of the venue where the state is present. You don't have any First Amendment rights. You're not here on your job. You're here vicariously on behalf of the state. You are stalking. In other words, you are doing so pursuant to a demonic behavioral pattern in a demented environment. Directed light is inside of this venue because the demon possessed are inside of this venue, monitoring with communication devices. All right. It is 12:18 p.m. and that is P.O.C.
Alrighty, I did make a video right now. It's starting at 12:44 p.m. walking out of the venue of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, documenting what is remaining, where I remain, with a light source that is not the sun. And also you're looking at what is directed light as you're understanding that pattern as it's underway while the people maintain corporate presence. And you're witnessing what are literal psychopaths while they're monitoring you, maintaining presence around you in an entirely demented environment and doing so maliciously with knowledge that you're documenting them. And this is revealing what is a psychopath, not an innocent bystander. They are referred to as what are third parties and or state actors. And the direct evidence of that is the unnatural light activity that they are in while they are conducting themselves as those psychopaths who are stalking on behalf of a government. They are doing so under what is not the sun, as I'm documenting again today, November 27th, which is at this time within 12:43 p.m., 12:40. I'm showing you in the city of Fontana while I'm this is November 24th, as I stated in that video and in my video yesterday, because I'm showing you what is stalking with light and that which is clearly not the sun. It would be impossible to be the sun as it maintains the central presence, as I give a specific timestamp, 12:40, between 12:40 to 12:43, and this is just an example. I'm in the city of Fontana on November 24th, and I'm at the parking garage of the Fontana Lewis Library, and the state is keeping that light source squarely over my head while I'm showing you also what is directed light in that video, just light just manifesting out of nowhere, all right? This is a demented environment. It's absolutely unnatural, all right? And you have what are psychopaths that are stalking and what is an absolutely abnormal environment. That's a psychopath. That's a third party and or state actor. It is the absence of normalcy, and it is revealing what are psychopaths while they do so in my videos, okay? Because they are blatantly stalking in that environment and intentionally so. And you have what is the state's fake sun on November 25th while I'm in the city of Upland, and the state is keeping that light source central over my head. This is regardless of what city you're at. That is not the sun that remains central over your head anywhere that you go, any direction that you go, let alone remaining over a single address where you remain, all right? And that is also coinciding with what is directed light, unnaturally occurring light. While the state is keeping its fake sun over the B&G Plaza yesterday on November 26th as well. On the 25th, at this same time frame, I'm showing you the state's fake sun centered over my head at the Prime Wash Express in the city of Upland. Yesterday, the 26th, I'm showing you what is the state's fake sun centered over my head while I'm standing on the side of the S.I.I.S liquor inside of the B&G Plaza. And I'm showing you what is directed light while the entity was engaged in an ongoing group molestation of my body as the demon-possessed are hostile to my documenting them. And that is at the same time frame. And that is while I am standing on that sidewalk beside that S.I.I.S liquor. And that directed light was manifesting in the shade, swiping across the building after it's swiping across my person. And this is while it is not even, and by it I mean these vehicles are driving in the shade, that's stalking with light. It's speaking to knowledge of who I am. It's speaking to hostility of the demon possessed who know that I'm documenting them. It is speaking to what is inevitably stalking on behalf of the government, that is monitoring and following with a light source that is not the sun while I am at that venue, as it remains for the duration of the day in conflict with that. It remains over today, the 27th, over the 280 North Lemon Apartments, which happens to be where I am centered over my head at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. All right, and it follows that this is not sunlight and that is not the sun. It is the state's ongoing engineered light that is aimed underneath and into the venue of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. That's the identification of third parties. That's the identification of a venue. That is speaking to the absence of any First Amendment right that you would claim that you're exercising. You're not present on your behalf. You are in the state's environment with knowledge, intentionally so. And what also do the people of the state share? A demonic behavioral pattern of stalking with noise in the engineered light.
It is an entirely malicious system underway. It is also sexually violent while the entity engages in that stalking conduct and activity creation with knowledge of what you're doing while they are outside of the bathroom, and then entering inside of the bathroom to engage in that stalking conduct visibly while you're looking at them with knowledge of your documentation. That's going toward the profuse prosecution of third parties as they engage in that sexual violence. That's predatory, sexually motivated, it's absolutely perverted, and it is the pattern. All right. It is 12:51 p.m. and I did capture that on video. This is P.O.C. at State Facilitating Venue, Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, where the state's fake sun is remaining over here, and as opposed to remaining over until after 3:15 as I captured it before I went east on Hope Boulevard to get to Starbucks at 111 North Vineyard, where the state then moves its fake sun eastward to keep it in the window of that bus. And then as I captured in images while I'm in the parking lot of that Ontario Airport Plaza. All right, this is P.O.C. All right, it is currently 3:19 p.m. and as was the case prior to yesterday, which was November 26, 2021, and I showed you what is called remaining with a light source that is not the sun. This is the entity stalking in the bathroom. They are creating activity in what is directed light. It's also in the hallways while they cross path, walking in that light. These are psychopaths and violent sex offenders, and this is a venue where I'm showing you the fake sun at 3:15 p.m. And that is in direct contrast and also mutually exclusive with being visible as I am facing south at the B&G Plaza, as I showed you yesterday. And then the state moved with its fake sun eastward as I got on the Omnitrans bus, and that's how I was able to capture it and screenshot as I'm in the parking lot of the Ontario Airport Plaza. This is called activity creation in the private space. You're going to prosecute the entity for engaging in that sexual violence and stalking in the private space. All right, and then it's light activity as that demon-possessed stalker opens and closes the door, walks through the hallway. They're monitoring systematically and intentionally maintaining presence in that regard. This is demonic activity. That's not ordinary toilet usage. That's not ordinary presence in the bathroom. That's not ordinary washing of hands, flushing the toilet, etc. The third-party demon-possessed men are in that irrelevant position on the opposite side, also stalking in the path, monitoring with communication devices centered and focused on what I am doing and where I may or may not go inside of the venue. And that's exactly what I captured. What you see is directed light in the hallway while those group stalkers are maintaining presence in the path. All right. It is currently 3:21 p.m. Opening and closing of the bathroom door is light activity creation. That's what a third party just did. Knows exactly who I am, knows exactly where I am located, and what I am saying as well. This is the maintenance of presence in a private space. That same sex offender that is stalking with a fake sun and that substantial directed light inside and outside of the venue, in complete contrast with logic, common sense, nature, which is terrorism as it's practiced by government of what is demon possession, by the way. Okay, this is terrorism inside. That's how you're moving all of that P.O.C. inside of the bathroom where that entity is engaging in that conduct with knowledge of your documentation. And again, the video that I captured, you're going to want to look at that. It's 3:15 p.m. And again, at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, this is documentation that already existed. And that is a prosecution of that entity. Where I go to Upland, I'm documenting the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. I'm documenting the city of Ontario. I'm documenting the entity, because you know that that is not the sun that's also maintaining central presence in Upland over that venue. That's called amplified audible activity and directed light. You have what is the state engaging in that ongoing revealing of its criminal and sexual violent conduct while I am in the city of Fontana, and it's maintaining its fake sun in that venue. That's how you know what Ontario is engaging in. You also know it by virtue of what is engineered light. That is not sunlight, as my shadow is enlarged in front of me standing outside of the venue, and this is supposedly the sun that's remaining within 50 feet of the same location as I entered at 10:20 in the morning. Also comparing with 24 hours ago, where it's over the B&G Plaza at 3:15, and I'm just showing you where I'm at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library documentation that is already existing, where the state is filling this venue with directed light. That would never occur if that was actually the sun over the B&G Plaza, as I'm standing at that property and I am facing south. And then the state is moving east with that fake sun to follow me, remain in the window of that bus, and I am capturing it in that parking lot. That's the totality. That's the sex offender that's hiding in a bathroom stall. That's the sex offender that's in the men's restroom. That's the sex offender that's working at the circulation desk. That's the sex offender that's driving around an Ontario Police Department vehicle, monitoring in concert, surrounding with what is light while they're maintaining activity. And I am surrounded with a circuit of a network of communication devices as they're monitoring together. That's that obsessive conduct, and that is sexually violent conduct. All right. It is 3:24 p.m. That's audible activity creation. That's P.O.C. Okay, so the ongoing sexual violence, the group stalker that I was reciting in real time while they're monitoring, the sex offender continues to be a sex offender as I document them. All right, that is what is speaking to that impermissible threat and that relentless prosecution. It's a matter of justice and necessity as you are becoming apprised of the character of the demon-possessed, the determination to engage in sexual violence and stalking. It is demonic at its core, and it is a satanic beast in the operation of the people of the state, while they are maintaining presence in a demented environment, showing them to be the stalkers that they are. It is the ongoing creation of what's booms and bangs as for example, and I'm going to be detailed because this is revealing what is a very hovering presence that is ongoing inside of that private space. So while I'm inside of the restroom and I reach to just touch my back, just to scratch my back, rub my back, boom, in the bathroom. That's creation of audible activity with simultaneity to what I'm doing, knowledge of what I am doing, and the artificial creation of noise, okay, creating impact. And I have documented what the state does, for example, and this is how you know what the state does, because while I was kidnapped, the state engaged in the same stalking with audible activity inside of the cell, the same terrorism where you are, for example, creating helicopter activity inside of the cell, which you cannot hear, creating the sound of traffic inside of the cell, which you cannot hear. That's the state's pattern of conduct, and that's what the state is doing inside of the bathroom. So you have what is revealing what are demons who are maintaining presence in the path, who are hostile as they are being documented as the sex offending stalkers that they are, and that is also what I've documented at this particular venue as well, engaging and showing and representing, all right, demonstrating an ongoing determination to engage in that criminal conduct for which the entire entity is going to be prosecuted, because they don't act as individuals. These are demon-possessed actors acting corporately on behalf of a government. It is group conduct, all right? It's demonic group activity. So you have, I want to document that. Opening and closing the door is a method of activity creation, the state maintaining that environment. As I exit, you have what is a minion using an underage child that, as I'm being molested with directed light, to make a banging sound. That's why I'm showing you the image of the wagon. That little demon-possessed child used it with simultaneity to my exit to create loud noise using that wagon while I'm being molested with directed light. This is demonic, all right? And that's the people using a child to engage in that demonic activity. It's achieving a criminal purpose. And these are the ways in which the malice with which the entity, the demon-possessed, engage in that system. I also take what is an image of my molestation. You see my shadow appearing in front of me as I'm facing the elevator. Absolutely impossible activity, and also light activity that's never going to occur if that was actually the sun over the B&G Plaza while I am facing south, showing you what is that remaining light source since 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, and I'm also capturing what is documentation of positioning. All right, this is what the Ontario police are doing at the Circle K as I'm capturing an image of them while the state hovers over the Jack in the Box on plane. This is what the group stalker is doing on Plum while I am walking up that street and the state's fake son is over me while she's stalking in her vehicle and then drives off. I captured images of that. This is what the third party is doing at the Enriquez income tax. All right, these are just the immediate examples. This is a very precise positioning. And so as I walk around the elevator, the entity maintaining ongoing knowledge of where I am, all right, and engaging in placement through the walkways, all right? And as I get into that walkway and that group stalker is intentionally present there, simultaneous creation of noise, loud banging as that group stalker is maintaining presence in that hallway. And that's what I take a picture of. It's called positioning and audible activity with simultaneity to my presence, all right? That's crossing a path in reverse where I am in motion and the group stalkers are waiting for me to approach. That's demonic activity, and that's documentation of terrorism as the demon possessed are engaging in that monitoring conduct. That is exactly what they're doing inside of the private space as I reach up to touch my back, which you cannot hear with the human ear, where nobody is physically present in the bathroom anymore. That is a sex offender, okay? That's what the entity is doing together with knowledge of the fact that I'm documenting it. That's going toward the prosecution of that entire entity, and that is that egregious and unprecedented level of sexual violence while a group, that is the people and the government together, are engaging in surveilling an American citizen, engaging in stalking an American citizen, and monitoring with ongoing knowledge of the fact that you are being documented. It is also
captured in images what I'm showing as I'm exiting, and that ongoing P.O.C. is underway. I showed in video what is the state's remaining light source at 3:15 p.m. And again, the state, I've already, as I was stating in that video, this is documentation that has already been published showing what is not the sun. So as I give you real-time ongoing examples, as you're understanding the significance of that cumulative documentation, just giving you an ongoing example. If that's the sun over the B&G Plaza that remained there, which you clearly know that that's not, because the state of Nevada, for it, like I was saying, is never going to see the sun over their sky space while it is remaining over Holt Boulevard, specifically over that address of 410 East Holt Boulevard. All right. And then the state engaging in keeping it there and then moving east. That is light activity that already has been documented inside of this venue, the Ovid Family Library, that's never going to occur, but for your real-time movement of a light source that is not the sun after it remains over a specific address where I am located over my head, replete with what is not sunlight, directed light, that is not only molesting me, covering all of the surfaces. This is the ongoing totality of that documentation, while the demon-possessed stalkers maintain presence, all right? And let me be clear, Satan's hostility to revealing first of all that Satan is present through the people is nothing that is going to be any grounds but for federal prison, the ways in which the entity engages in obstruction of justice. And that's the P.O.C, first of all, obstruction of justice. And second of all, it is revealing what is, legally speaking, federal prison, straitjackets for what are psychopaths, and implications into the professional and personal lives of the people and the state. That's speaking to law enforcement, that's speaking to those in the medical profession, the fire department, et cetera, that are engaged in the P.O.C, acting as a state directly, because that is exactly what is underway, and that is the P.O.C that is built in while the state engages in the system. All right, and engages in what is an ongoing defeated effort to obstruct justice, which is speaking to the crafting of policy, and it is not in no way obviating prosecution. All right, it is currently 3:35 p.m. and the state, contrary to what has already been documented, all right, yesterday is contrary to what was already documented. The state has kept its fake sun, as I have shown, past 6 p.m. All right, the state did the same exact thing at Upland Public Library. All right, did the same thing at Fontana Lewis Library. All right, so you already know the pattern, and that's what I'm revealing yesterday and the day before. This is what it's an ongoing cumulative documentation. So while that documentation is already in the universe, okay, you have what is remaining over the B&G Plaza. Well, that light activity that I've already documented day in and day out at the Ovid Family Community Library, you know what that is. In addition to the fact that you have multiple shadows, I mean, this is common sense, but I'm showing you a big picture. This is indeed stalking with light, and it is entirely demonic, and it is directly indicative of the condition of the psychopaths that surround, who are focused on you. Okay. Now, while they are outwardly conducting themselves as though they are consuming something else, it is witnessing a sex offending psychopath. That's what it's revealing. Not the fact that the directed light is revealing exactly what it is, that's not sunlight, and it's intentionally there. The fake sun is revealing exactly what it is, that's not the sun, and it's intentionally there. The molestation of covering surfaces with that which is directed light and not sunlight is revealing exactly what it is. An intent to keep me surrounded with that which is unnaturally occurring, and it is intentionally occurring, coexisting with the stalking presence of that unnatural environment. That is a psychopath that has lost that battle of acting like they are not a stalker. That's what the people of the state engage in. That's the system. Okay? And as you reveal demonic activity, as you reveal the criminal conduct of the demon-possessed, operated by government, you are talking about encountering the depths of malice and the depths of depraved hostility while you do so. Okay? And you're understanding what is evil and recognizing the face of evil contrary to how you would define that. Okay, you're talking about what is knowledge of the fact that you're being documented, knowledge of the fact that you've been identified as you are, thinking that that's going to be maintained as some secret, and it's not. Understand that this is satanic. All right, there is a baseline hostility to that alone. Okay, but above that, you're talking about prosecuting it. And prosecuting it not just because it's satanic. You don't have a legal case because somebody chooses to serve Satan secretly or outwardly, okay, however they want to do it. You're prosecuting it because you are demon possessed, and while you are perpetuating an environment pursuant to that demented end, you are stalking, you are monitoring, and you're doing so in concert with the government. That is entirely unlawful. So unlawful, it is unprecedented and never before contemplated by federal legislation. And that is where I come in with regard to my advocacy for federal policy, because Title 18, 18 U.S.C. Section 22618 subsections 1 is addressing, and subsection 2 is addressing federal stalking. It is addressing monitoring with communication devices. It is addressing the ways in which you engage in that pattern of conduct where it is intended to intimidate, harass, injure, which is exactly the unlawful intent when you are doing so through the people of the state. It is exactly the intent when you are doing so through actors of the court, state actors, the court, doing so through law enforcement. All right, even doing so through what are fire department and ambulance personnel who also engage in the pattern of kidnapping. All of that is with that unlawful intent that exists under existing federal law. Systematic infliction of inhumane suffering is the policy that I advocate, where it is speaking to what is not mere monitoring, which is unprecedented enough. I'm not remedializing that. You're talking about it's operated by the state, a public entity, and then the public entity is then also doing it in concert with every single last person around you. And then not only that, not engaging just that criminal system alone, it is debased and demonic out of the pits of hell with every method employed. It is inspired by that which is entirely demented. That is what Satan is about. It's about demented conduct. Demented conduct trying to cover itself with the face of normalcy. And it is absolutely abnormal. All right. And so you're looking at what is referred to as malice under the law. Okay, malice, knowledge that you're being documented, an ongoing feigned, albeit failed, effort to maintain that sense of normalcy. You don't have that under the fake son. You're entirely a freak and you're stalking, and you are a psychopath that is revealed as such. All right, and that is revealing that P.O.C. as it is unveiled. That's what you're looking at, a psychopath. All right, and so that is speaking to the prosecution. That's speaking to what is necessary as a matter of justice. And this documentation of what is clearly not the son, as I am standing at the entrance, the same entrance where, by the way, you're talking about less than, it's not even 50 feet. It's the same sky space. I don't even have to turn my neck all the way around. I am facing forward out of the entrance, and the state's fake sun is over the same sky space. That is exactly what the state did yesterday, remaining over the same exact parking lot. That is the same thing that I have documented in the city of Upland, where the state is remaining on the same exact street, D Street, as I have identified, where, by the way, I'm inside of that Upland Public Library, and as those windows on the first floor, those emergency doors, they are facing south. I can't see any other direction. But what I have is documentation where the state is keeping its fake sun, not only in Ontario, which I would never be able to capture if that's actually the fake sun that I was capturing day in and day out over the Upland Public Library, or through on D Street, before and after I exit that venue, after being there for the duration of the day. Documentation of being all the way in Fontana. And you have what is exclusive placement over me and focused placement with that which is unnaturally occurring, directed light, engineered light. And that is irrefutable and insurmountable direct evidence of an entity that is monitoring an American citizen. All right. And it is not just monitoring. It is a demon-possessed entity. That is terrorism. You're stalking with a demonic environment. You're stalking with demon-possessed people who are engaging in demonic behavioral patterns. Stalking with noise every time you make any kind of move. That's a demon-possessed stalker. That is focused on you while they're looking like they're looking for a DVD in the library. That's called a psychopath. All right. You are indubitably stalking in directed light. You are indubitably stalking under the fake sun. All right. You are indubitably stalking in concert and on behalf of that entity that is engaged in that pattern of conduct of stalking by planes and helicopters, law enforcement, fire, and ambulance. You're not present innocently, coincidentally, or idly, and that is unreasonable to even suggest it, but not even more than that. Moreover, I have demonstrated that it is actually not possible. There is no exception. That is why the environment is present. That is how you have a people engaging in an identical behavioral pattern. They're all demon-possessed. right? And that's not a movie. This is real life. And it's the condition of the government in California. It's the condition of the people of the state of California who are monitoring an American citizen who's documenting it, and I'm going to prosecute it. And I am showing and educating any ordinary target individual lacking any legal skill set. You do not have to be a legal eagle in order to enforce your rights against the government. Using the internet and initiating what is alarm, because it is an emergency for so long as that government, that public entity is continuing that pattern of conduct, which is the P.O.C. That is the unlawful threat. That is the terrorism, because the government, as I have shown in my documentation, has every intention, the people of the state, as I have shown in my documentation, has every intention to continue to engage in that obsessive stalking concern, all right, and obstruction of justice. It is revealing what is an obsession. All right. So it is a demonic obsession. It is an unnatural obsession, but it is an obsession. That's exactly what stalking is. All right. So you have what is revealing the ability to prosecute that which is of the demonic, in essence. The demonic is underway by a government, a public entity. The demonic is underway amongst the people, and I want to document the same third party that I've already captured, and it was stalking in direct light under the fake sun, is present again, waiting for me to upload my video of the fake sun, sitting in relevant position, demonstrating what was hostility through underage demon-possessed stalkers, with knowledge of exactly what I'm doing on my phone while it creates audible activity. Is she recording you? That's a psychopath, all right? It is 3:44 p.m., and this is P.O.C.
85384LK 1535709. That's Omnitrans, bus 1363. 1266 ZS1 5SEK 591 8SVB 498 31338N2. This is Andy's Burgers. This is the venue. The people are loitering in relevant position in the environment, monitoring me as I'm walking on the sidewalk. 7GMT 589, monitoring while I am molested, and that's why I started documenting some more. I'm molested while a group stalker turns from Plum onto Hope Boulevard, which is supposed to be the forum under which you are constantly molested with light. This is the state molesting with light, acting with the people. 8LRY260. BJ18P87, that's paper. 6TFF065. It's currently, by the way, 5:55 p.m. and I have exited state facilitated venue of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. All right, license plate 7KIC988. Seven JSK 487. I think 8 PMR 439. It's 5:56 p.m. 18170Z2. Sitting in the dark parking lot of the B&G Plaza, monitoring as I'm molested while I'm walking on the sidewalk. And as Omnitrans is loitering in relevant position, Omnitrans then drives off while it's creating light activity. Omnitrans then drives off after I'm molested with directed light. 4RDL439. SOYDARX documented this third party, loitering in relevant position at Shiro's Liquor today. All right, the state is engaged in an ongoing molestation while I'm sitting at the bus bench. And so let me be clear, first of all, this is the exact same pattern of conduct. So what is the molestation? Molestation is inherent within the P.O.C. And this is a sex offender that is the government that is perpetually touching you while it is stalking for a criminal purpose of monitoring you in concert with the people of the state, the demon-possessed people of the state of California. So at nightfall, how is this taking the same exact P.O.C. underway without the fake sun, if you will, over my head? You're talking about what is directed light, and this is what I've shown that pattern, especially at this particular venue, B&G Plaza, where I'm on the sidewalk, where I'm in the parking lot walking around. I am being molested with what is directed light. This is abnormal light. Ordinary street lights do not create create 2 and 3 shadows. In addition, the demon-possessed entity that are the people of the state, they have a whole system in operation, and they are engaging in what is molesting with abnormal light. And this is how I've shown this, for example, at third-party facilitating venue Stater Brothers, while a demon-possessed stalker is engaging in the predatory pattern of maintaining presence where they anticipate for me to walk in order to touch. That's what you're doing, by the way, while you're stalking on behalf of the state at the street lights. You're a predator and you're waiting to touch. That's what you're doing while you are waiting and sitting beside roads and maintaining presence in any pathway that I have to. You're being a predator and you're waiting to touch. That is exactly what is ongoing while I'm sitting on the bench. First of all, I'm already molested with directed light, and the state is molesting while they are driving east and west on Holt Boulevard. Their headlights are not reaching off of the road in order to touch me while I'm sitting on the bus bench. That is an ongoing molestation while they are driving past. And during the day, that molestation is ongoing while the state is keeping its fake sun and that engineered direct light, which is it's appearing under what's supposed to be sunlight. And I've broken this system down. That's not sunlight, and that's not the sun, and they are all molesting together, okay, while they are stalking. This is what is underway at nightfall. It's the exact same P.O.C, and I just wanted to give that. And the state is also flying over this parking lot via aircraft. And I want to document these license plate. 8B, like the one I read, the license plate, she's engaged in surveillance. The entity knows exactly where I'm going. I talk on the phone to a third party, Tracy Banks, tell her I'm going to go to the liquor store. Everything that I say and everywhere I go, everything I do is a matter of public information. 8B00103, and this is presence in the path, okay? Even if I had not stated, for example, to Tracy Banks, I'm going to the liquor store, maintenance in the path is the POCs. Either way that I'm going, you have what is perpetual presence to that end, okay? But she is engaged in surveillance. She's in the environment, stalking with the state that's flying over by aircraft, and also that is aiming directed light. That's not headlights that's occurring, and their headlights are, and that's the same pattern where I'm walking on the sidewalk. The state is aiming light all across the sidewalk while they are driving on the road. That's a method of molestation on the run. They're sex offenders engaging in an obsessive endeavor to touch, an obsessive endeavor to follow, which is stalking and surveillance, okay? 7ZDZ684, and maintaining that presence is not only Shiro's Liquor. They are patrolling to that venue in order to engage in relevant positioning, light activity, stalking conduct. And 18170Z2 is maintaining presence as well. Okay. It is currently, by the way, 6:08 p.m. And I just want to read these license plates over here. And also speaking to whatever is open is the venue of choice for purposes of relevant positioning, and that's all the people are doing. They're maintaining presence on the road. They're maintaining presence at any venue around in relevant position in order to maintain light activity, presence via communication devices, vicarious presence on behalf of the state. 8TTG211, 8TPZ734, 8DOR684. That is the pattern of conduct where you are monitoring on behalf of the government, and this is the guise under which stalking is underway. All right, you're stalking while you are maintaining presence in the path, in the environment, in concert with the state that is monitoring. And that is why and how it doesn't matter what you're doing while you are engaging in that stalking on behalf of the state. So you were talking about the state's pattern of conduct, first of all. You're talking about the false premise upon which this entire system was based, that you can make a purchase at Andy's Burgers in relevant position in directed light while the state is stalking, and you are in concert present, creating, facilitating activity as well. And that you are somehow exempt from that pattern of conduct. It's absolutely illogical, actually, and it is an entirely false premise. All right. Anyway, it is currently 6:09 p.m. and this is P.O.C. at B&G Plaza. All right. Coming close to engaging presence in the parking lot by stalking in the parking lot, aiming their headlights. This is the third party who is acting with the state that's molesting repeatedly. And again, the demonic conduct is as I identify it. You have more. So after I documented that, 8 p.m. R439 is now sitting in their vehicle with their lights on while the state aimed more light onto me. This is impossible light activity. It's the exact same POC. It doesn't change at night. The state is going out of its way to touch. All right. And I want to document that. It is currently 6:13 p.m. License 7PW4663 7NTL298. And this one is 7WAK186. It is currently 6:15 a.m. 6:15 p.m. Sorry. And I did capture an image of that group stalker who was engaging in a molestation of my body with the government. She's a sex offender, and she is stalking sitting in the parking lot of the B&G Plaza. 6UAX 381. License plate. Oh, I can't see that one. MQL 561. 8HNM. I can't see the rest of that one. Let's see. 8UVR 400. License plate 7POU 860. And adding to the drive-through line, this is a means of stalking in the path. 6UAX 381. 6EZM 188. License plate 8UOP 542. 6EWP 928. 8J. Oh, I'm sorry, that was 5J, but I can't see the rest of it. License 6MQL 567. I believe I might have read that one already. That's in the drive-thru of Andy's Burgers. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 shadows while they're stalking in the drive-thru of Andy's Burgers. Andy's Burgers is a venue, and they are monitoring while they're cooking burgers. They're monitoring while they're ordering burgers. All right? This is P.O.C. License plate 6FTK 161. 8JKH 165. 8VEP 405. I'm sorry, that was 6HGK. The beginning, not an 8, a 6. 8UNL 846. 8JNX 871. 259 21E2. 7PQG. Can't see the rest of that one. 7, I can't see that one either. 8AAZ 113. 6. I can't see that one. That's a PT Cruiser. Can't see that one. License plate 6CUD 444. It's 6:17 p.m. 8WRZ. I want to say 146, but I can't see it. Is that? Oh, she got here quick. 4WON 432. It is 6:17 p.m. License plate AMITY 4. 8CNZ 757, or you could scratch that one. 1764 3S2. 7XDY. I can't see the rest of that one. It's 6:19 p.m. 7ELH 047. Making sure I remain touched with light as I walk around the corner to meet Tracy Banks. That's tracking my steps and molesting with light. That's a sex offender. It is 6:20 p.m. at Plum and Holt. This is directed light. That is, the state is aiming inside of the car where the entity is stalking, and the state is circling above in helicopter. It is 7:22 p.m. This is the same exact entity that is following everywhere that I go and is stalking at nightfall, molesting and terrorizing with that which is unnaturally occurring. That is directed light, while the people of the state, the same demon-possessed entity, the people of the state of California are stalking with that entity, the public entity that is flying around the vehicle at 630 North Fern in Ontario. Right now at 7:22 p.m., which I took images of. Pay attention. This is the prosecution of the people of the state of California. It is the state's pattern of conduct of federal stalking, monitoring an American citizen. And the people of the state are the vicarious actor, and that is why you have the exact same pattern of conduct as I'm showing, for example, during the day at 12:45 p.m., that which is not the sun, over the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, that which is not sunlight, that is the state's directed light, engineered light filling that venue. That is, for example, 12:45 p.m. yesterday, November 26, 2021. That is directed light, not sunlight. That is molesting my person as third-party group stalker Omnitrans and the Ontario Police Department, third-party Vitco Foods. Parents, third party Penske. These third parties that I documented on video as I'm speaking to what is the molestation of my person as they are stalking with that entity, as I also documented on November 26th under the fake sun that on that day remained over the B&G Plaza in conflict with remaining at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library in the 280 North Limit Apartments. While that directed light is at that venue, that is the state stalking with an environment. The state is stalking via helicopter. This is the exact same entity that is following from place to place. And this is the entity stalking an American citizen, monitoring an American citizen, terrorizing an American citizen, molesting that with that same exact light that I'm showing you on the sidewalk, on the buildings, on my person. That state is aiming that same engineered light inside of a vehicle at nightfall. That is called terrorism while the government is stalking an American citizen with a helicopter. That is called terrorism while the state is aiming that directed light, while the people of the state, demon-possessed stalkers, are crossing path, the same exact P.O.C. It is 7:24 p.m. and that is helicopter activity. Captured in images, what are the entity crossing path in directed light? This is a male and a female walking on the sidewalk in directed light. I've shown you on the sidewalk where I have the directed light is present while I have double and triple shadows on the sidewalk. They are crossing path in the same exact environment, which is demented. It's the ongoing environment where the state is stalking via helicopter and they are doing what is called crossing path, monitoring with that state. I want to be clear, the people of the state are one actor. It's a group. And this is the same entity that was stalking in the bathroom as I documented at what was the state facility and venue of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. This is the same entity that I document day in and day out, and that is the P.O.C. occurring at nightfall while I am in a vehicle where the entity is very well aware of where I am, and that's why you have that directed light. That's why you have the state stalking by helicopter, and that's why you have the people of the state stalking in relevant position, monitoring with communication devices as I document it. That's what they're doing. That's engaging in crossing path. While the people of the state are driving by, that's called crossing path. Directed light is moving all inside of the car, all along the curb, on the ground and the roughage. That's the state surrounding me with directed light, and I'm capturing what is the audio and in images that you will see at 7:21 p.m. while the state flies over me in a helicopter. And as I'm reciting the P.O.C., because I'm reminding you what is the ongoing perpetual engagement in stalking presence as a group, stalking with light and stalking with activity while they are monitoring. And this is the demon-possessed entity that is also expressing what is hostility while you prosecute them with that documentation. This is going toward the prosecution of every single documented actor. Indeed, Omnitrans is being documented right now. Omnitrans molesting my person during the day at the Shiro's Liquor under the fake sun and in directed light, going out of its way to touch while it is stalking, acting on behalf of the entity. Omnitrans present while the state is stalking via helicopter, terrorizing, engaged in that same ongoing pattern of conduct. And I'm just using Omnitrans as one example because I have documented thousands of third parties as they are acting on behalf of that same group. Omnitrans is engaging in that same P.O.C. right now. The people of the state crossing path in directed light, monitoring with communication devices, stalking with that entity that is circling above in a helicopter. It is 7:27 p.m. That is the sex offender of the state of California. Directed light appearing on the surfaces around. All right, and this group stalker is license plate 6YHP938. Loitering in relevant position in the vehicle. That's a Nissan Altima while they're sitting on the opposite side of this car, monitoring with the state that's flying above in helicopter. That's a sex offender. All right. That's one engaged in terrorism and one engaged in stalking and surveillance. That is the demented and demon-possessed stalking activity that the people of the state of California are engaging in. All right, that's called surveillance and loitering while the state is flying above me in a helicopter. They are directly tied to that conduct. All right, they are directly engaging in that conduct, monitoring together. And this is demonic, entirely demented. And that pattern of conduct, as I'm showing you, follows into the bathroom where the same demon-possessed entity is stalking and maintaining real-time corporate awareness while your panties are down, engaging in that same stalking conduct. Okay, it is currently 7:28 p.m. and this is P.O.C. Ongoing helicopter activity. And like I said before, this is the prosecution of the people of the state of California. That is P.O.C. The state increases that volume as I stop recording, so I'm recording again so you can hear it. That's a psychopath. All right, I want to be clear what I'm revealing. This is demon possession of what is the government. all right? Monitoring American citizens. It's a demonic targeting system. That's P.O.C. This is the same entity engaging in the demented conduct of stalking with that which is not the sun, a fake sun over my head, as they are entirely focused on me. Stalking. All right, the entity drives by, directed light inside of the car, and by the entity I mean a demon-possessed stalker representing the people of the state, and directed light moves all inside of the car while the state is flying above in helicopter. It's 7:29 p.m. Directed light while a group stalker is driving west on G Street. That's impossible light activity. That is P.O.C. It's 7:30 p.m. I just want to be clear. This is Satan operating over a government and Satan operating over a people that are engaging in criminal conduct in violation of existing federal law, Title 18, Section 22618, subsections 1 and 2, as they are monitoring with communication devices and engaging in what is terrorism while they are practicing satanic conduct together. 7:30 p.m. and that is the pattern of conduct. That's P.O.C. All right, it's 7:51 p.m. The people are crossing path again on that same dark sidewalk. He's got double shadows on the wall while he's crossing path. He's representing the people who are stalking, and that is stalking an American citizen in a vehicle that they very well know where I'm sleeping. That's why directed light is in the vehicle. That's why the state is stalking over me in a helicopter. That's why the state is sounding impossible audible activity of a train, which is going to be prosecuted, which is going toward the prosecution of what is third-party Union Pacific. All right, you cannot hear the train at this location. That's amplified audible activity under any circumstances, but it is also that which is impossible to actually hear at this distance. That is speaking to what is a demonic environment, that the entity is crossing path again as I begin recording. That's a demon that is stalking with activity, knows exactly what I'm doing as I am doing it. What I was going to record as I'm speaking to what is the entity's crossing path. And I did publish those images of the state stalking by helicopter and then crossing path on the sidewalk in what is directed light, monitoring with that entity onto my website so that you can see those images. But again, everything that I document, my images and the videos, everything are published on the Google Drive, which is shared on my website. All of the documentation together, my podcast, the video documentation, and the images, screenshots, video captures, pictures, everything is together. What I want to speak to is with regard to existing federal law, and Title 18 speaks to Section 22618, subsections 1 and 2, speaking to what is the intent to intimidate, to harass, to injure. I want to be clear, the entity engaging in federal stalking via the means of the pattern of stalking with helicopters. This is that which exceeds. It is accomplishing what is the criminal elements of monitoring pursuant to a criminal operation operated by the state of California that is monitoring with communication devices in concert with the people of the state. But I want to be clear, the entity engaging in what is stalking via helicopter is that which exceeds the language of that statute. All right. So in other words, it satisfies that statute. But like I said, Title 18 does not go far enough. But it is grounds for what is federal prison. Stalking via helicopter, which is what the state of California is engaging in. And it's also the ongoing evidence against the people of the state of California as they are engaged in that state's pattern of conduct. And that is why they are not walking by. They are engaging in what is crossing path in the state's environment. And they are present on behalf of the government. They're not exercising any First Amendment rights. And you document and you prosecute accordingly. And I want to be clear that conduct is that which exceeds the intent to intimidate and to harass while you are monitoring and engaging in that federal stalking conduct. That is intended to terrorize. That's intended to threaten criminally. And that is exceeding the language of Title 18, if you will. But it is also that which is calling for, as a matter of justice, federal prison, as you are prosecuting a public entity and prosecuting the people of the state who are cloaked in the position of the government as it is monitoring you. I want to make sure that I specify that this is the demon-possessed that are engaging in this system. And this is a pattern, by the way, of what are psychopaths engaging in what is that show of hostility. Let me document this third party. License plate 8MWV959. While they are driving what is north on Fern Avenue, the state is filling this vehicle with what is directed directed light. All right. And that is the ongoing pattern while the entity is stalking. In the same way, while they are driving by under what is a fake sun, you have what is directed light streaming across the street, wiping across my person on the sidewalks and on buildings. They are stalking. All right. And they're doing so in concert with the state. And that is a sex offending psychopath, demon possessed stalker that knows exactly who I am, where I am, and is monitoring me with the government. Okay. It is currently 7:55 p.m. and this is what the entity does 24 hours a day. And that is heavy duty, terrorizing, threatening conduct by the people of the state as I am prosecuting that entity. That is the vicarious actor, and I am prosecuting what is the state of California. And I want to be clear, that's what I'm speaking to with regard to the demonic pattern. This is what is revealing psychopaths. That's what demon possession is operating in human beings. They are psychopaths, and they do pose a danger while they're engaging in that criminal system. This is that which is unspoken by that entity, and that's what you're looking at while demons target you and operating under the rules of normal society, and everything about it is abnormal. And that is the conduct of what are psychopaths, okay? And everything about the P.O.C. is revealing that. And the conduct while you are, the state is stalking by helicopter. This is a government that is demon possessed, all right? And that is speaking to what is federal prison under existing federal law. And as a matter of justice, federal prison, as I have also advocated and designed what is policy necessary to prosecute the people of the state, of any state that is monitoring with the government, because that's what the pattern of conduct is. The government is not doing it by itself. It's doing it with the people of the state. And federal prison is necessary as a matter of justice, as you are witnessing what is the routine conduct of what is psychopath level stalking and obsessive conduct. All right. That license plate is representing the people of the state doing what the entity continuously does, and that is a sexual molestation. That's a violent sex offender, the people of the state. That is a very violent stalker. That is engaging in a criminally threatening level of obsession, and that is inspired by what is demon possession. That is a psychopath in operation, and it is that which is an unlawful threat while that psychopath is operating amongst a group and on behalf of a government, okay? And it is 7:56 p.m., and that is the P.O.C.